Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open 2021 Spring Split Playoff Stages here for the African region. As always, you've got myself, James Banks, aka Vegeta, and then you've got Maxman, who's just Gohan. He said he may want to be Krillin, but I said he dies a lot, so maybe you would just stay as Gohan, because he does eventually become powerful at least. Happy with that, Max?
You said, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be Krillin either. It's just like, you put me going as like, you could just put me Krillin too. I just have the same effect regardless. I could have been anyone else. I could have been a villain too. I would have been cool with that, but no, Gohan. So I get it. Okay, it's okay. Take Vikendi away from me yesterday. Now I'm Gohan today, man. I can't wait to see day 3 and day 4. I'm getting bullied over here for sure.
It continues from start to finish, mate, as much does the action with all of this. And yeah, it's the gun team that decided to put us these amazing little tweets out with some good videos alongside of it. They're getting hyped up and ready, and they put themselves as Goku. But when they look at the scoring and we look at how they did yesterday, they're maybe not quite there just yet. You know, they may need to grab a few more points to make that happen. But as always, our schedule for today and where we run through all of this is we get to look at all the matches that are coming up. And trust me, as much as Max tried, Vikendi is still not allowed to be in there. We did get duped a little bit yesterday. I'm going to continue to enjoy this from start to finish. But we have got the normal games coming your way. It's Erangel, it's Sanhok, it's Miramar, and then it's back to Erangel again. And honestly, Max, when it comes to this, I am really looking forward to seeing if we get some crazy Ruins plays come out on Sanhok again, because that was unique. It was impressive, but it was also very unique. It was scary at times with these guys.
So I did a little bit of VOD review this morning, and I took some notes off of this, and I just said, exactly word for word, my notes is, let's forget about Sanhok, please, sad face emoji. That's exactly what I wrote. And after I also put the team that won. But otherwise, I'm hoping to see a more usual Sanhok game coming into this one. Of course, we had some weird rim pushes, like from the side of Art of Killing, INF, that made very little sense, and they both died to the side of YONKOUS, that played that one fantastically, by the way. So Sanhok Open here, we're going to have a more usual circle, not a circle that finishes on top of also a bridge, by the way, because that was a really weird one. So Sanhok is the game that I'm looking out for today, a more usual one, hopefully over to the eastern coastline so teams can show what they can do, because we had this entire section dedicated to talking about how important it is about scouting on Sanhok, and even teams sometimes forgetting about it. And then you have that kind of circle where scouting is somewhat useless. So hoping to see a more usual Sanhok game, but of course double Erangels is the map that everyone knows and love. We're going to have that one on the menu once again. So hopefully that is a map on which we're going to have some good results coming on through from a lot of these teams that desperately need it. Some teams are struggling quite a bit in the standings here today.
Oh, yes, they really are, because it's points and kills that will get you all these points to rack yourself up. And in terms of how it all gets played out, this is what you come to know and love. This is the point system we sit within, and it's a pretty fair point system all the way through. But we have seen it. Many teams can pull off a fair few kill points and still finish way like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then still end up in a good position, outplacing some of the teams that manage to slowly start their way into placement points. Because often, we've seen it before, many times a circle may go on top of a team, and we're going to just pick out gun on this. I'm sorry, guys, you just sit in my memory on this. But 2 times you had the circle go your way, and yes, you had good placement points, but you weren't able to get much killing done because there wasn't a lot of fighting for you to have early on, and you got trapped a couple of times as well. But we should also, Max, have a look at where we are in the rankings right now, because these rankings, what I'm mostly impressed with is that we have 2 teams with over 50 points after day 1, and it is Undisputed African Esports and Scrim Farm AF. Now, I was speaking to Yumi yesterday, and she was telling me that they just got to join the Scrim Farm AF team, which is huge for them, and also they came out with some really consistent placements. These guys, right, if you look at it, in total, 35 kill points in there, sorry, 15 kill points and 35 placement points. So yeah, they weren't going out for crazy kills the whole way through, but they were the most consistent team in every single game and able to place highly enough up there and find themselves some success. That shows to me that they changed a lot in their playstyle, considering what we saw from the group stage, because for me, they were the slow burner, right? We started to talk about them a little bit. They weren't having much success. As the group stage progressed, they were finding themselves into a better and better state. And we started to see this even in the playoffs now.
Yeah, they got themselves actually 3 third positions over the first 3 games. So Scrim Farm, that was some great stuff. And Yumi, those shots on Miramar were really well executed. Not enough to take the game away from Slime 4KT, unfortunately, but still the attempt in general was really, really acceptable. And I got to say, Scrim Farm has definitely been coming in strong in this one. And they've been, scouted out pretty heavily by Scrim Farm too, because Scrim Farm was a big team when it came down to European PUBG Mobile. They were a team that were high up there in the overall rankings. So it's good that they've given a chance over to this team to now get picked up in the African region. So we're talking about the consistent teams and the teams that were doing really good. One team that I think was not consistent, but that was very explosive, I would say, was Slime 4KT. The two first games, kind of forgettable performances coming out from 4KT. And then they come into that Miramar game, the circle right on top of them. But initially, they were edge of circle. They were outside of all of that position. They had so many teams gatekeeping them. And yet Slime 4KT was amazing rotation, amazing IGLing performances. 4KT were able to push their way center circle, hold on to the only compound in a flat terrain, which is super hard to hold on to normally, but they were able to do amazing work with it. And Slime 4KT able to get himself not only a win, but after that, second game, boom, third position right on top of it. And I got to say, because usually, Banks, when we talk about 4KT, we talk a lot about, Storm. But yesterday, the player that stood out to me was Aimer. He enabled them to get the shutdown onto the side of Scrim Farm in that Miramar game to close it off. And also, Aimer was able to keep his team alive so long to allow them to snatch away a third position because they were normally in a really bad spot at the very start of that game. So I think that yesterday, Aimer is the player that stood out to me. So I'm hoping to see a lot more of not only Aimer, but hopefully the entire team of 4KT going into this second day of finals.
And then we also have to touch on some of the other teams down here, right? Because you got to be scared if you're down on, say, the bottom three teams there. KHK, a team that we praised so heavily at the beginning. Art of Killing Esports, that's the team you picked to potentially win this whole stage. There's a bit of a dark horse in there. And the DROGONS as well. Sorry, Max, I had to point it out, just because my team is currently set in fifth and they're pretty good and they have good memes for Twitter, good little Dragon Ball references. But no, realistically, when you look at this, today is the day where they must bring full force to it because it was only 4 days of playoff stage. And if they don't find success today, if they don't jump up the rankings in a lot, it is going to be so difficult. And we have to keep pushing this point. Only one team from the region is going to make it to PMPL. That is a huge opportunity for these teams, but it is only one team that has the chance, which means if you come second, third, it doesn't even matter. Okay, you get a little silver medal or bronze medal, but you won't be making it a step further forward. So right now, your chances are getting very slim if you can't have a good day today, especially if you're down near the bottom.
Everyone wants to try and have the same success Cinderella story as Zeus for the Mongolia region in general, which they're going to try their best to make it up there. And we're doing a lot of Dragon Ball Z references today. I'm going to do a little bit of a My Hero Academia reference. They need to go plus Ultra today. That's the main point of focus. DROGONS yesterday struggled 3 first games. I'm going to say it was horrible. It was not what we were expecting from the DROGONS when they showed so many times into the group stage that they could make some stellar performances. And yesterday was just not their day. They did start improving, though, on game 4. They showed some good rotations. Sure, they did die, but that happens from time to time. But DROGONS, I'm hoping to see more of that game 4 mindset and playstyle coming into the entirety of these remaining 3 days. If they do so, they should be fine. And also, I had a little bit of a chat just yesterday night, actually, after the stream with Art of Killing Esports, where they said, hey, sorry we disappointed you, Max, man. We know you voted for us, which I did, and I still believe in the guys, by the way. But they said, hey, sorry, that was not a great day. Tomorrow, we're making in top 5. They told me top 5 today. Ooh. So I'm looking out for it, Art of Killing Esports, if they make it top 5. It seems like they're hyped up. They're feeling good, so I'm hyped to see what they can bring to the table coming into this second day.
Well, I like it, right? I respect the confidence, but you have to back your chat as well. So we have to see what happens when they get into game when it comes to all of this. But one thing I'm also going to look at with some of these teams is, even though they may be thinking, okay, there's only one slot, this is tough for us. Every game right now, when you're in the best lobby within the region, the 16 best teams all in one go, it is something you can learn from. And I'm glad when you mentioned the DROGONS, it's their rotations, because the first few games, it wasn't pretty. The last 2 games, we started to see them take, especially on that last Erangel one, they were going for longer rotations, going all the way around, taking a longer route, which sometimes people go, oh, well, you're just not going to be getting into fights. They were trying to play out a smarter, longer game in it. And okay, it didn't work out from again. Sometimes it just goes that way. But if they can continue to mix it up, if they continue to adapt, then at least I'm going to have a bit more hope that they're going to have some chances in here. But you've got to remember, this is cutthroat. This is so tough for all these teams. And just because we look at the other lobbies when they were mixed together, sometimes you were just one of the better teams in the lobby. You'd be able to find this early success. Now, when you're up against the very best, it is very difficult for you to be able to get away with maybe a bit of a lucky rotation or be able to sneak it up, because these teams are well aware. We started to see this yesterday where it was, I'm trying to remember which team it was. I believe it might have been the Magicians or Spaza Six, but one of those 2 teams was basically able to look around the entire time, and they were always checking every corner. They were not focused on the one fight that was in front of them. And what they were able to do there was able to deal with multiple teams at one time. That is the kind of awareness you need to have now, because it's very easy to focus forward on the team that's taking a fight with you, and then you quickly get third partied, someone sneaks up on you, and then you go, oh no, and you're not ready for it. we're starting to see that the high-level plays within multiple teams here is definitely something that could see them find success in a PMPL and other events in the future.
One of the teams that actually did that really good going into yesterday was on the Miramar game. Once again, I'm going to talk about them. It is 4KT. They had the central compound. There were so many opportunities for other teams to pick up a car, full breach it, but yet they were just having such good team synergy, holding every single angle and able to keep them at bay. So hopefully, we're hoping to see a lot more teams being a lot more aware of their surroundings, of the map in general, and seeing opportunities to move on forward, which is why I'm looking at Gun once again here, hoping that they can think of being a little bit more proactive. Sure, they might be having the circle come in their way every single time, but I want to see teams that, even though they have a good position, understand if that position is valuable for the long game. And if it isn't, maybe start sending players forward to create an anchor point in another position, or just full sending the entire team forward. So I think that is what I'm going to be expecting the most of these teams is decision-making going into today. Some teams were maybe a little bit slow yesterday, but you know what? They had 4 games to train yesterday, so I'm expecting a lot more on the second day.
Well, it is starting for this game, and we are ready to get into the opening game. And remember, with the Renault 5G, you are born to win. The match is about to start, and this is the moment of truth. You'll have your support of your mobile phone in your hands. Well, when it comes to mobile gaming, not all smartphones are created equal. The Oppo is specifically designed with its latest devices with this in mind. The Renault 5G is the perfect match for PUBG. It has remarkable power and speed, plus the best-in-class graphics. And the audio for the ultimate entertainment for your favorite gaming sessions, which means you guys should be ready with the Renault 5G in your hands, and we will be ready to fly on in to Erangel for this first game. We're moving on forward. We're going to see which team can win. And well, Max, you were told that your team that you picked, Art of Killing Esports, they're supposed to be able to jump up all the way down from 15th to 5th place. It's not going to be easy, but maybe this plane can help them.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit with Mestra, and they are feeling hyped up for the second day. They knew that they had some issues going into yesterday, so hopefully things are about to change. But going into the playing path, of course, of this first game of this second day, it's going to be very northern. As you can see, it's going to be from the eastern coastline all over to the west. But unlike yesterday, where we had a very southern playing path on game 4, here, all the teams that like to drop in George Pole, which there's quite a few of them, such as INF, for example, they are not going to have too much of an issue. So overall, I think that a lot of teams are going to be happy with this one. But I'm looking out especially for DROGONS. We talked about this team a lot today because they're currently dead last, only got themselves 6 points total so far, so they really need to catch up. And they usually dropped in Novo yesterday. So I'm looking, do they have a secondary drop location? And from what I see, they do. They drop in right on top of George Pole, but I am a little bit scared because a lot of teams drop in George Pole. And what caused the demise of DROGONS yesterday were taking early fights that they were just not able to win. So at least one good thing is, sure, they got a secondary drop location, but it is the most contested drop location of the entire game. So I'm a little bit skeptical, DROGONS, on that one. But we'll see if that's going to be working out for them. It seems like atlmagicians are slowly going to be moving away from that spot. So you know what? DROGONS might not be contested here, actually.
Yeah, maybe they'll get away with a bit of a lucky play and have some space in this one. They'll certainly be happy with it. Remember, we normally see 4KT go towards the South George crates. Then DROGONS did used to go South George. Yesterday, they were dropping Novo. Maybe they wish they dropped Novo this time because, look, military base is completely open as of now for these guys. Chill there if they did want. Maybe they're just really unlucky with making choices as it goes. But also, they need to be careful of other teams being close towards them because INF, they were usually going down to North George at the same time. So like you mentioned, it can be a heavily contested area. We could see some fights going down there quite early on. But we're going to start off here with Gun. And good old Gun, they always manage to deliver. Right now, sat on 5th in the rankings. They've had some good games for sure, but they've not had a real incredible game just yet that's really made us open our minds because this lobby is so much tougher. One thing Coco's going to do is try and take some shots, and I believe that is the Magicians just up in front of him. He wants to try and fight them away from some long-distance shots towards the car, but they'll be able to escape. It's no real problem at all for these guys, and they will keep their run going on forward. But Ash, he's not a lucky one. He was just pistol whipped. Oh dear, pistol whipped and then shotgun. That's not the start you want. And AOK, well, they'll be very happy with that because there's no other Magicians coming back round to save him. There is nothing they could do in that situation.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what atlmagicians are doing here. They are a very stubborn team in the sense they always drop around Quarry / Primorsk. It's always where they're going to go, even if the playing path is not in their favor. And when you do elongated drops, when you try and stretch your drop location, it is a big cause of death early on into the game. So unfortunately for them, atlmagicians, I think the one thing that could heavily improve their overall gameplay would be to find a secondary drop location that suits their needs. I'm mainly thinking of Kameshki, because they drop southwest, and if you want to go for secondary drop location, you want to usually have one on the opposite side of the map in case of a hard plane path, which here it was fully up north. So I think that Kameshki would suit their playstyle, and there's no teams that drop in Kameshki as of yet in this event, at least into the finals. So I think that that's something that ATL Magicians could be thinking of, is going for and training a little bit of Kameshki potentially in the future on scrims if they want to give it a shot. I think that would help them out quite a bit. So we'll have to wait and see. But also, back into the group stage, we had so many teams drop in over here in Milta. But now they know it's free because a lot of the teams that used to drop here, such as Team BBC, for example, they're out of the entire event. Yes. So overall, I like the fact that Undisputed African Esport, they read overall the lobby really well. They're like, okay, we know as a straight up fact that no teams are going to be dropping here as they got eliminated into the group stage. We're going to take it. And that is exactly why they were able to get such good games yesterday going onto Erangel, especially that first game that did end up with a win, because they are reading these lobbies extremely, extremely well. And they're going to keep on going strong. So you know what? Currently up to 55 points. They're looking to maybe try and double that today, which would be fantastic. And if they do so, they are still in the running for that #1 because, yeah, they are amazingly good so far. And hitting a 100-point bomb over 2 days of action, that is in 8 games, is an extremely hard feat to achieve. But if one team can do it, for sure, it can be Undisputed African Esports.
It certainly could be. Now, when we're looking here at 4KT, these guys right now sit in 4th place. 27 placement points. They had a chicken dinner as well. 16 kill points up in there. And they've had some games where we certainly would say that in the past, or Storm, he's been the point man for this. But we definitely, like you mentioned, Aimer has been coming up. He's been looking really strong. And I remember the game where a lot of his teammates were dying on around him and he was trying to solo pushes all the way through and find some success and find the extra placement points where possible. Sometimes it can just work that way. I often look at solo players sometimes as being the sneaky ones that can get away with some of these crazy placements. But in lobbies like this, it's incredibly tough, but he still managed to be respectable with it. And I guess here for 4KT, today's the day where they want to be able to continue the momentum from what they built up yesterday and just try and avoid any early issues and early fights that might see them go down. The DROGONS that we're also looking at now is, sadly, the team in last place. They are a team that we did enjoy during the group stage. They showed us that they were making big improvements. But now they need to show they're making daily improvement. They've got less time to play with, more games to play across this. They're in every single lobby and they know what they're going up against. I want to see if that rotation that we spoke about earlier and them changing things up and looking at how they get into the circles from here is going to change on what they can do.
They're going to have to be very careful because there are a lot of teams around them, especially crates who can have 4KT. So they could encounter a few teams out in the blue. So they just got to be very cautious of their next move because here, even though last time they were getting contested by Spaza Six and Novo, here in this position of draw spot is a completely different brawl game as Brad is just, he's chilling. Oh, waiting for YONKOUS. Luke's going to be moving out. Oh, he's taking his shots, actually. I did not think he was going to shoot it out, but he is. And Brad finds himself the first kill of his team, of a Racer crew, and YONKOUS on the move. They do not want to get involved as they're looking for a future end of a position to go for. But hey, you know what, Brad? I did not think he was going to go for the shot, but he saw the opportunity and he seized it wholeheartedly.
Smart decision for them not to bother to even try and fight him. They're going to group up and get together as the remaining 3 members of their team. You can see Yerbot and Yulameng already took some damage early on as well. Some shots had come out towards them. Now they'll continue to loot them up and gain themselves some ground. Yeah, Yerbot has been a beast. We have to talk about him on an individual level. He has pulled off some crazy moments for sure, but they're still as a team only down in 12th place. 5 placement points, 17 kill points, and we know they can get the kills, but they need to play out a little bit more to this late game.
Yeah, hopefully, like, Yerbot is great when it comes down to clutch situations, but clutches will not get you positioning points that heavily. It will help you out quite a bit, but Yerbot has got also his limits. Even though he does not seem human, he is indeed a human. So he's got to try and still get the backup of his team if he wants to be able to get good position overall. That's what I think has been lacking a little bit for the team. As they go, 4KT has been starting to move away, so this is great. Going to liberate a lot of breathing space for DROGONS right behind them. So this is setting them up potentially for success. But we did see a little bit of Blackjack Esport initially coming in, moving away from Pachinki. That 4th game yesterday from them, they took themselves the win. And especially I got 2 players that I keep in mind when it came down to that for their team was Cheddar. Awesome grenades and also awesome zoning away from Mansion on the Mansion finish. That was really well executed by him. And also Swave. I called him on my notes the ninja. He was just jumping over walls that I did not think was even possible to do. And he just shut down the entirety of 4KT with some also good usage of utility, especially some Molotovs. So I'm looking at this one for the time being of Blackjack Esports. They are currently pretty close to the top side of the standing. Well, I'm saying pretty close, actually. Blackjack Esport are currently up in third position, so they are high up there. And here today, with these 4 games, they could be looking to contest #1 position. I mean, they're close enough. It's currently standing with 47 points. That's an extra 8 points they need to make it up there. So Blackjack Esports, you know what? If they keep on popping off like they did on Game 4 yesterday, we could see them on the tippity top of the mountain by even just Game 1. After today, after this game now, they could be up there already.
That would be a huge achievement for those guys. We're going to look at soon where this second circle is going to shift. Most teams already found themselves inside of it, but it hard shifts over towards the east, just over Milta Power, kind of centered up almost towards Milta itself. And there's a lot of space over towards this eastern side. Gun, again, have benefited from being in the circle from the very beginning. They're out towards Shelter. They're looking to have a 2-2 split going on here, but they are in vehicles as they run on around. Now they've got a decision to make on how they want to play this out, because many times the circle has benefited them, but we've not seen them capitalize on it. They've not been able to pick up the kills they would want from it. They've only really gone for the placement points, but they are a team we know can be deadly when they do go in for the fights. So let's see what they've learned from the previous day, and let's see what they're going to bring to the table here on Erangel, given that they've got a slight advantage in this circle.
Yeah, Temper pushing on forward, looking for a few hilltop positions. There you go. They find one compound. 6 God will go in there initially. Inspector, indeed, shall be inspecting the overall position, looking for a potential easy shot, but mainly it's just going to be down to gathering that intel and feeding it to the rest of UAE. And with a position like this, you got a good hilltop position down south of prison. I would love to see some teams maybe capitalize on that early on. Those are great positions for scouting, and it's very easy to rotate away from it also if you got a bunch of cars to move with. As UAE moving away from that spot, actually, but yeah, they saw that there was going to be another team coming their way. Like, we just don't want to take it, and we know as a straight up fact that no one's in Milta, because Milta is the drop location of UAE, so they're just, okay, and back where we came from, the circle's centered up on our position pretty nicely, and UAE just don't want to take the fight, which I think is great. Early game fights are just a risk that it's just not worth taking. Pain moving on through, but YONKOUS looking for the shots, and Inspector maybe finds one, actually. Oh, big.
YONKOUS, they were trying to take some shots at Pain and UAE. Well, they repositioned, and then they went to take the fight to YNK, and they couldn't expect anything like it. Now Juliment is on the floor. He can be picked up, but he needs to manage to have enough cover here. The smokes are going to go down. The Maniac, he's looking. He says, okay, there's a gap in the smoke. So you want to cross? I'll be ready for it, and I'll follow you all the way through. Pain at the same time can be having a look over towards them, which means that YONKOUS may find themselves caught a little bit off guard here, that more bullets might rain on down on top of them.
Well, Nero of Dragons going to pop into the kill feed versus atlmagicians. That's the thing. atlmagicians have got very far drop to actually move away from. So this is always a risk of you being able to encounter teams midway. Dragons, though, intrigued to know what they're going to do, because they do have to catch up in terms of points, but they're not going to go for the kills. No, they are aiming for a good old top 5 minimum here if they want to start climbing up, which I think is good. But Nerf me once again, popping into the kill feed. I mean, once again, DMR, you give him a DMR and he starts popping off in style. Snowix looking for the push on the Racer Crew.
Gonna get it done. Oh no, only getting one. Doesn't expect Brad to be hidden around there. It does mean that Ghost did go down, but the snake paid off. Yep, sneaky snake in the grass, always waiting it out. Some good cover fire being had here. Ellie, ooh, not exactly the shots you want to be hitting over there. She maybe lost track of where Brad would be. He's trying to use the car for cover, but he's going to look to try and finish him off. It's stolen! Oh. KHK! Oh, Sully. Oh, Brad was hopeful. He was like, oh, that's my kill. No problem at all. You can never be too sure, though. Something like that can easily happen. And Gun, they're aware of this going on. They already took the shots towards both teams, so they'll be keeping their eyes peeled. And again, the circle. This is just looking really good. So, still kind of over Milta. Mainly focused around Milta Power and Mansion. KHK Exist. SF. And now Era, all going to be close by, fighting it out. They need to be careful, though, Max, because you think of where 4KT are coming from. They look to be another team that might join up in the northern side of it. And Gun, they're going to have a lot of teams coming in from this west side. And you see already, you just look, they're going to be having a look over. They're going to hear these cars. They might be able to take a hell of a lot of shots of these guys. Oh, this is crazy. Look how many are all going from the same spot. Shots being taken as well. Samuka's taken out of the car, and that's not what he wants to be seen there. More shots are going to be fired constantly, and it is going to be chaos. It is like a rally race while guns are being shot and fired out the back of them all.
And just put some epic music in the background and scream for Narnia. And man, you got yourself Narnia number 3. This is awesome. Overall, they were trying to make it on the mountaintop. Of course, a few teams will have to lose a few players along the way. Samukha was one of those unlucky few as they're making it over there. But now, you mentioned it, all the teams are slowly going to be entering through the Western Edge. So teams like Eraser Crew, sure, they lost themselves one of their players. They still got a few over next to Milta Power. So overall, their team got very far over to the eastern coastline, and this is great. And we know for straight up fact that in these games, not many teams drop on the east. So you should know that if you want to be one of the initial few to rotate super quickly over to the center or east, no one's going to contest it. Existence understood that. Eraser Crew understood that. And then the only teams that pulled off that move right now, and Southwest towards Milta, all hell is breaking loose currently. I think I would love to see some teams understand the value of the East here, because if they read the circle and did their homework properly, there's still so much space between Milta and Milta Power, so many compounds, so much free real estate. If teams get on there early on, they could easily aim for top 5, I do believe.
Well, that's certainly what they want to see try and happen. As Magicians, they lost Ash very early on. He went down to the pistol and shotgun. Now they've managed to keep 3 alive, at least for the meantime. Oh, wow. Skull. Cheeky on the bike. Magicians did manage to spot him, but they weren't able to take him down. They're going to reposition for now and see if they can continue to fight off. They did take some shots onto the Magicians, who have decided not to move just yet. But at least Magicians will have the info now that they've moved away and they've got some space to play with here. But like you said, Max, some of these teams are going to be smarter now, move away a bit earlier before the circle comes in, just to ensure they can get over to a space towards the east and probably find some cover they want, find the correct compound to try and fight out throughout the rest of this game. We've got 56 alive, 16 teams still in total. Oh, the car. Oh, the car.
Oh, no.
That's not what they want to see. 3 dead. They were trying to get to their teammate. I actually didn't think the shots were going to land, and then boom, it worked out, and El Chapo sat there in the smoke. His teammate's dead in front of him, and he goes, guys, are you there? Oh, no.
Just like me waiting for my dad after he went to get some milk, and 5 years later never came back. It's like, he was never coming back to me, no. And we go to prison up north, actually, onto the side. So this is actually really so this is when the circle starts to get really tricky. Spaza Six, by the way, really interesting rotation, picking up the car, going all around Milta to make sure they don't get contested, but they're going to get right in between of Eraser Crew and also of 4KT. So this is not looking amazing for them so far. Let's see if they're going to get contested. But DROGONS, they were trying to be proactive, being quick on their rotation. They already got Bot Jeff up top of their current position to try and scout on forward onto Temper, which I also think is a really good shot calling decision from DROGONS. They got to keep on moving, but on this position, you got 2 compounds, prison and a compound northeast of that location, and that is it. Otherwise, it's just pure downhill terrain. Whichever teams on to the southwest are good, whichever teams are north or also on the east, that's where the trouble is going to start to ensue here, Banks.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh,
you gotta hit those.
Give it.
Shade. Oh. That was so close, but so far, because he wasn't able to quite land it. We see 4KT. They've been fighting quite a lot here. It was Storm landing some shots, and Pronto's right up in the action. They were providing cover fire because Aimer was having to swim away to get out of the fight. He was pinned by a couple of SG members. And now it's just kills non-stop coming up on the screen. Temper heavily under fire. Almost looks like they'll be ready to go out soon. More players taking shots at them as well. That's not what they want to see. Dan's gone down as well. The same for Bot Jeff. And of course, there's a nade kill in there because it is the African region. We know how good they are with landing these grenades over and over again. For YONKOUS, they've still got 3 players alive up in this. The DROGONS, they're looking to keep all 5 alive if possible. They still need to go and get Jeff. But Gun, they're making their advance. It's a full 4-man push.
Oh,
and they
no.
know the time is now to strike. Jeff may be left alone here because the rest of the DROGONS are trying to back away. They've spotted him now. Dan behind the rock. Nerfme's taking the shots. And Nerfme, he doesn't miss much, but he needs to keep an eye on the rest of the members of DROGONS to see where else they might pop up from. Blade's actually able to land the knock onto Slim, and that's a start. That can even up the numbers. It's something they can play with. Nero's looking to do some more damage as well. What Jeff slowly bleeding on out. He's not going to be saved at all here, but the rest of the DROGONS can stand strong for now.
Bot Jeff bleeds out. We also saw ourselves PAINAF Africa die in 14th position, so they're going to be out of commission entirely. It seemed like Gun, instant regret, going to start moving away, make it back to the rock and the trees to be able to peek a little bit easier and gather information from those respective spots. Well, one grenade's pretty close. Going to have to dodge that one, move away. But in the background, you're also going to have your side of UAE and AOK facing off against each other, trying to force their way inside the circle. AOK shall be the gatekeepers of the south so far. for Undisputed African Esports. They popped off good yesterday, and they're trying to do that again today. But Gun, understand that this is not a valuable fight. Going to start moving away. They are not getting gatekept whatsoever by DD. So overall, they think, okay, we got cars still available in the back. Let's pick it up and start moving straight dead center. But they're going to go downhill, and they're getting blindfolded. They have no idea where all of the teams in this lobby currently are standing, as DROGONS also picking up their own cars, trying to make it downhill, but they are cornered at every single position to try and aim for.
And there are two teams that can certainly hit some heavy old shots. UAE and AOK down at the bottom, waiting to see what Gun and DROGONS may do.
Oh, that circle
goes even further away. Center towards where we are.
No buildings.
All those teams that we were just looking at, they've got to go right out into the open. They've got to work their way down the hill and then towards prison. We've got a pretty normal ending, though, to be fair, right? It's not a terrible one. They're not going to openly complain about it just yet. But these smokes are going to be vital for later on, for sure.
Dead center, already a few teams are going to be trying to aim for that spot. Slime 4KT still holding on to the coastal line, but unfortunately for them, they're going to be pretty easy to spot, and a lot of teams are going to be trying to contest that position of Slime 4KT on there. They are split away from each other, so they are not going to be able to take those fights head on. Fex, especially on the front line down south, he's going to make sure that no team get there, while he's going to still give some information, but I believe UAE slowly sending some players downhill. They've got some smokes to play around, so overall they should be good. Inspector's going to be initiating. And now, because they got the anchor point was Inspector, they're sending the full team to join up on that position. Magix is going to go actually further away into the unknown. Not sure where he's going, but right on top of Mestre of AOK, and he does not take the shot. What the good trigger discipline, but not anymore.
Shots going on through into the smoke. Mestre able to get the knock onto a Spectre, but is he able to get anything else done with it? Doesn't have a grenade that he can fire off. That would have been vital for now. Smoke's going to go down, ensuring that he has extra cover in here. Oh, but they're looking for him. Sahil, he wants that vengeance. Spectre's now just driven away. Still low on health. Needs to be careful. More shots being taken by Mestre. He's just using the tiny bit of the rock for cover and wants to cause a problem for absolutely everyone that is left trying to come on down. He himself does still need to work his way into that circle, though, so he needs to be careful. He's right on the edge of it. He doesn't want to be overwhelmed with the other members that are still rocking by.
Oh, there. Oh, no. Oh, what a good smoke road, and you get spotted out. Yeah, AOK going to be out in 13th position. 12 teams now remain. Oh, okay, Berserk. Gets taken out. That's going to be the end of Spaza 6 in that game. Also 12th overall. 11 teams still stand tall. But UAE, what a good smoke road from them, I do have to say. Surprised they're not using a cast fully to try and full send in a position and create a makeshift, like, car fort, but now back to the western side, and that's where all the teams were just clustered earlier. Now all hell is breaking loose as Reverb solo split away from his team, taking some big initial damage, but Gun, Vile in the bottom side, not able to really join up, but he picks up the buggy and he wants to get involved as much as possible. But Brad, the snake of the lobby, is still right behind Gun, and they have no idea. Oh, they do now. Okay, I'll take it back.
You jinxed it. They found him straight away, but nerf me. He wasn't ready for Sully. Straight in for the kill as well. Now Gun down to just 2 players. There's plenty of them fighting around.
Oh, wow.
He's trying to spray him down. Plaza pulling it off, but then eventually falls. Mercury's there now, trying to fight back against him as Vile. He is the last line of defense. He wants to be able to revive his teammate, but it's not going to work out if he can't get it done soon. The Blue's going to tick on and push on in, and Vile, he's looking to find some success for his team and hopefully at least keep 2 alive. But the further he goes down, the more teams he's going to have to face. And INF, they would have definitely heard all of these gunshots.
I thought Plaza was going to get 1v3, was just a bloom shot on the M4. That was such an impressive push from Plaza. Now looking for Cheddar. Few taps with the DP. You find a few damage actually coming out. Hussein looking good, and they are the only team currently in the circle. But is that going to be the case for long? I'm not sure. A lot of teams are going to try and just walk right on top of them. It's Blackjack Esports picking up the car. I disagree with this one entirely, but it's the last resort kind of play. They lose one, is going to be Zane, and now they're going to send himself MG4. The car explodes, and that's it. It's all down to 1, and it's Cheddar going to be alone for the rest of Blackjack Esports.
Oh, man. It was a risk. He tried to do it. The car lit up on flames, and just before he could jump out, boom, it went. Cheddar now does have his work cut out for him. The YONKOUS, though, considering how early we saw Loops go down, still 3 alive up in this. They've got a good chance in there. 2 kills up already. The position isn't bad. But again, it's 4KT. I think I've seen them on the kill feed more than anyone right now. They're up at 6 kills in total. Just 2 players left alive. It's Pronto and Aimer to try and find them this game if possible. But there is not many players left up in this. They've joined up to be close to each other. They're trying to push on Brennergod. Oh, they take the shots onto Yerbot. That is huge. They catch him slipping, but Brennergod replies onto Aimer. The nade's going on up, and Pronto wants to do some more damage. But UAE, they've come on through. They've crashed it as well, but no one's taking shots at them. They're just driving on by. Brennergod, you are in a rough spot, my friend.
They was like, no, we don't want to get involved. We're just going straight for circle. Thank you very much, my good sirs. And they try and cruise on by. Interesting play from UAE, and I do believe they just died, if I'm not mistaken. At least I can't see them on the minimap anymore, so I do believe that means they're dead, as I wasn't able to see the kill feed right away. But regardless, Dan dies away from the hands of Aimer. That's going to be a bleed out. That's a good grenade onto Jerbot. Finds the knock from Pronto. Great, he's done another one. Not going to be quite there. A little bit undercooked. At the end, they got the man advantage. Brendo will not be able to get it, and they shoot right underneath. That's so well played from Pronto, and that's going to be the entirety of the opposing team are out of commission entirely. See you later, YONKOUS. They are out in 6, and now 5 teams shall remain. The INF still up as a 4-man team. They are a big contender for this first win of the day.
And if INF could get this win, it'd be huge for them. Remember, they're down at 10th at the moment. Only 13 placement points and 11 kill points. They're up at 6 kills alone for this game, guaranteed top 5. They've got the numbers advantage here and some cars to play with as well. And they're not taking any big risks just yet. But they're in a position that's very comfortable.
The circle kept on going their way. So INF just going to be taking things very calmly, just staying very close to each other. So one good grenade could be a big underlying issue for INF, so they're going to be very careful, but they don't have much coverage. Aimer gets spotted by Vile. Headshot connects on the M4. It's now 4KT. The res in an open field like that, not too sure if it could happen, but I'm pretty sure they're going to give it a shot regardless. This gun, the only way in is with the smokes here. They're on the very edge of the circle, but around their side, there's another team, and that's actually going to be Existence, as they're slowly going to be pushing on their location.
That's 4KT down and out of it. Just 4 teams remain. 2 players left for Gun, 2 for Exist. And Gun, they just caught the nades of Exist. Plaza very low on health here. He's got the backup of his teammate, but they're desperately trying to avoid the barrage of nades that come out towards them. INF is sitting back, sitting pretty. No problems at all. As Blade, he decides to die out to the zone. He doesn't want to give anyone a kill point. And that might be the best decision here, because you never know what the kills will come down to at the very end of it. And still a respectful 4th place. If Gun could pull this off, I'd be mightily impressed, but it's 2v2v4. INF, they're not moving just yet. They're not going to make a mistake and give any team the upper hand to fight up against them. If they allow the other 2 teams to fight it out, that could be problematic. As Plaza, he jumps up, he takes a risk, he fires off some shots, but he can't get them to connect against Zodiac.
I'm not a fan of how INF are playing this. I want to see them try and spread out a little bit more and try and get more control on the map, because they do have the man advantage, but he's getting chucked away. Not going to make his way to Vile just yet. But see, INF, they're all clumped up against each other. If they could start snaking out a little bit, just at least send one person out to scout and know what the hell is happening in the northern side of the circle, I would love it. But INF, they're being very passive. I would even say too passive at this current stage of the game. And exactly, I said it, nades could be the big issue. One connects, the second could be perfect from Vile. INF. Oh, he gets it. Oh, that's huge.
And look, Gun, instantly they react. They take some shots. Vile jumps up, but Exist are also going to take some shots back towards them. That is not what Gun wanted to see happen. Plaza put down on the floor. Vile now trying to find some success for his teammates. This is where INF need to make a decision. They need to fight back against this. They should be aware of what's been going on and Exist. They're watching it. They know exactly where INF are as well. They've got nades in their hands. They could pull this off at the same time. INF start to make a move. Hansley out in the open, running on forward, quickly prones on down, but did they spot him? Does Exist know? Clutch throws out the grenade. I don't know what he's doing there.
What are you throwing, mate?
Well, we praised the African grenade skills, but that one, that has a little bit more to be desired to, I would say.
Yeah.
More nades
doesn't have a Renault 5G.
Split it up. It definitely doesn't.
INF trying to take a little bit more control. I'm enjoying this a lot more than what we've seen in the past few minutes, at least. They're trying to move on forward, trying to get a little bit more control. Vile, though, was able to get the res, so that's going to be great. He is going for that high ground position, trying to spot it out, but Clutch going for the spray. Can he hit it? Oh my god, he's so low. But Vile is still up, but not anymore. It's going to be snatched away by Zodiac.
Gun are being absolutely rolled on. They were fighting so well and so smart. The grenades were well placed. But Exist, they came in to make a problem for them all. Now Plaza is all alone, snaking his way on forward. INF look to try and group up again as Hansley, oh no, he's trying to avoid the flames, just about does it, but now they're all really close. Hansley moves real quick because he doesn't want to be too near the rest of his team. The Zodiac wants to fire on through, see if he can get any bullets to connect. I feel like at least Exist, they've only got 2 players, but they're playing this so well. Now they get caught. Hansley jumps up in time, they'll be eliminated, and now it's all up to Plaza. He's in a 1v4. As INF have res their teammate, they just go straight in for him, and Plaza goes down. A well-ended finish for INF, who end with first place, and that is what you want to see because they were not looking so good coming into this, but now they're going to jump right on up. They end that game with a first place, 15 placement points, and 9 kill points, 24 points that they desperately needed.
Just before this game, actually, they had perfectly 24 points. So that one game alone doubled their point standings. In one game alone, they did what they did yesterday in 4. Great presence from INF. I did think that they were a little bit too passive, but the moment that they started taking more control, it was when they gifted themselves an opportunity to close off that game and take a win. Sure, a few players got knocked away, but that is how you're going to be taking those wins on a more reliable basis. So overall, INF, despite a few, I would say, weird decisions sometimes, but I think that overall they did close off that game exactly how they should have. So INF, big up on that one, especially from the side of Skydo that has been doing great stuffs in this game and throughout the entire tournament so far. But Gun, you know what? The lucky charm of Banks is helping them out quite a bit, as Gun has been running away with a good position. 8 frags coming their way also. And this is the issue that we mentioned yesterday. They were being too slow to rotate away, even when they had a good position. Here, the circle shifted, boom, instant rotation from Gun. They knew exactly what they were lacking on day 1. Now on the second day, they fixed it, and it rewards them with a second position. That is the Gun we want to see.
And that is the Gun that has now gone over 50 points. There is now 4 teams with over 50 points up in this. And UAE, right, considering this game and how it went for them, I'm just going to look back at it and see how it exactly went. They went out in 7th place, but had 5 kill points. They're still sitting pretty with 62 points. It's still a very good game from those guys. They're not going to complain about that at all. Slime 4KT move themselves up into 1st place, and Gun are going to now be up in 3rd. For the Drogons, they have got a considerable amount more points in this game. It's not bad for them. They ended up with 8 placement points and 4 kill points, but they've got a long way to go. But they'll be happy that they've got themselves further up now. They're not down in the bottom. And I think your caster curse continues for Art of Killing Esports here, Max.
They dropped another one. I knew, I saw them. I was like, he's going to mention it, isn't he? He just has to do it. That is true. Art of Killing Esports, yeah, you got to, yeah, I see how it is. I'll see. We'll have a little chat after today's broadcast. We'll take it to the, Nah, but overall, Art of Killing Esports, yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but mainly Drogons. I want to touch on that point once again. These were by far their best rotations. They were rotating so efficiently. They did have a secondary drop location. Sure, I was questioning the drop location of South George itself, but they played that one really well. Good execution overall. The IGLing was on point. The fighting also was on point from that point onwards. So I think the Dragons here, they found their vibe, they found their mood. And now it's just keep on going. You do have to get potentially a few wins or some good top 3 positions to be able to catch up and make up for that horrendous day 1. But overall, this is the Drogons we expected to see. This is the Drogons of the group stage. Now they're back into the finals. Hopefully they can keep that pace on going, because if they can, we could see them try and make it close to top 5. I don't think top 5 today, but if they get those big wins I did mention, we could see them make it up there very close. But it's going to require still a lot of effort. But this is the start that we wanted to see initially from Drogons themselves.
And this is hopefully something they can continue on with. We got to also mention quickly that KHK are in a position as well where things are not looking good. We started to see them get up on the kill feed. We were certainly saying that they could be one of the teams that are heavy hitters. We were told by the community here for the African region that they're one of the better teams. Well, so far in the playoff stages, they've not been able to show it, which does show us there is a lot more capable teams within this lobby, within this region, that can find some success in here. But the opening Erangel game wasn't too crazy a circle. Yes, it was a very open end, but it was a smart play from the teams that were left. It was action from start to finish as they were trying to run their way down the hill over and over again. For a game of it goes, I don't think I needed my button this time, Max. I'm pretty happy with this.
I think that was a good game overall. I think the teams are pretty happy to have a normal one. It was not a bad circle, but it was a circle that still required a lot of thought process as to how you want to approach this one. Gun was one of the few teams that I think played that one really well. I think the Existence also, despite them maybe a little bit slow to move away from their compound, but I understand because there's literally nothing else to aim for. It's flat terrain, or a little bit of slope terrain, should I say, but they're like, okay, we got a position here that is great to hold on to right now. And the longer we stay here, even if we take tick damage because of the blue zone, we can spot everyone out, maybe find a few kills, and also get some information. So that is a situation where I think it's okay to move out late. And Existence also, you mentioned it at some point during that cast, despite them being down as a two-man team, they were taking so much control out of that game. They had one player on the rock, one player behind them. And the reason why that is so well executed, to have one behind a rock and one right behind him also, is because if they smoke out that rock, which is usually what you'd like to do, try and block out all the visibility away from the enemy team, the player on the back line still got 100% visibility on what's coming to them. And that is something that they're not fully prepared, because you're looking at the side of INF. They're ready for someone behind that rock, behind that little bit of terrain. And they might just push on that one, but they don't expect the guy behind. So that is usually how you want to hold on to those positions if you're a two-man team. And I think that overall they played it really good. It's not second position. It just got snatched away last second by the final player of Gun. But overall, the execution, I think, from Existence there was good. And they're feeling a lot more confident too. They tended to be initially a team that I would say was very scaredy cat. They would not fully try and go for pushes. They'll play very passive. Here they tried to take control. And I want to see more of Existence like this, because I think that this is the Existence, how they're meant to play. It feels like their main play style that they're finally getting back into.
Well, let's see if they can continue to get back into it when we move on to Sanhok, because that's what's coming up next. But before that, we need to take a quick break, and then we get to see if we do get a crazy bridge ending once again. Maybe we get some ruins plays. You'll have to wait and see, because Sanhok's coming up around the corner. We're moving on into game 2 for today. And this is the playoff stages here for the PMCO African region Spring Split 2021. Erangel went, I'd say, pretty normal. It was a good game for sure. It was a tough test for the teams, like you mentioned, Max, in how they would deal with a circle like that. And it showed us that, like you said, existence. We praised them because they were only 2 players left alive, but they were taking some initiative. They were willing to take fights. They certainly didn't back down from any of it. And they almost bagged themselves a 2nd place coming into it. Be interesting to see what these teams can do and what they'll learn, though, going into Sanhok, because our first Sanhok game didn't really tell us much about the teams and how they're going to play it. It gave us a lot of randomness. We had a bridge ending. Teams were just dying out to the water. Teams were lost. Teams were in ruins. Yeah, but gave us that insane moment that we didn't even think was possible. Trigger discipline was on point. But other than that, it's all about a learning curve for today, I think.
Yeah, a lot of teams yesterday on Sanhok were feeling like Zoro in One Piece. They're not understanding their surroundings. They were getting lost all over the place, especially Art of Killing Esports and PAINAF rushing into ruins without any information whatsoever against YONKOUS. Yeah. I think it's fair to say that that was a very questionable play. Hoping to see no one, by the way, little tip, not only for competitive, but also for ranked. If you guys playing ranked on PUBG Mobile, do never push in ruins. It is never worth your time. The loot there is good, sure, but is it worth dying over? Mostly never going to be the case.
There is always one, Max. Every time I've ever been in it, there is just some guy just chilling on his own, never with his team, just like, you're going to come in and die. It's like, why? Why are you here? Why do you do this? What is your sole goal of playing this game? It's probably like a person who only plays Sanhok as well. You know, he's like, I'm a Sanhok specialist. I live in ruins.
He's like, oh, Bear, what's his name? The guy that does the survivalist show. Like, hey,
Bear
adapt,
Grylls.
overcome. Just, Bear Grylls. He's like Bear Grylls. Oh, I find it. The PUBG Mobile player. He's around here in the bushes. We'll find him eventually. But yeah, the Bear Grylls of PUBG Mobile. They can always be there, of course. And you should definitely watch a documentary or two if you want to know how to adapt to the jungle as much as possible. But overall into this one too, we've seen some. No, we didn't do it. Don't want them to adapt. Well, do you want another bridge circle? Is that what you're asking for? Okay, nobody wants that. Okay, I don't want it. Maybe the viewers want it because it's actually pretty funny. But no, actually, I want it too because it's pretty funny too. But you know what? We're not biased for the circle. We want good circles for the players, of course, because we're nice casters. We are lovely going into this one. But now, another game of Sanhok is going to be up and. Really intrigued to see what the team's take are going to be for a normal circle, because we saw also not only that weird finish on bridge, but we also had some teams taking fights early on that in the first place I did not think made a lot of sense. We saw that a few teams like Spaza Six getting involved, not too much fighting in boot camp, which is a good thing. But I'm hoping that after that hectic Sanhok game we had on day one, this one should be a lot calmer when you come into it, because now they learned a lot more about hot drops, about where teams like to drop into. And just like that last Erangel game, we saw teams adapt. I'm hoping that to also be the case on this Sanhok game.
Now we're going to be keeping an eye on some of the teams that go on in as we start our descent. We start to fly on into Sanhok. I want to be looking at a few teams in there, like the DROGONS again, to see what they can do. Because this, for me, their rotations are going to be hugely important on this, but also their decision making. I want to see also what we might be able to get from the teams that we see, like Undisputed African Esports, because again, we normally see them go off towards Bantai. At the moment, it's not going to be an issue with them kind of having in a place where it's going to be contested massively. And I would also say that when it comes to Temper, this is a team that we were speaking about. We were having high praise about them. I want to see some more from them on a game like this. And also, I'm sad to keep mentioning it, but KHK, time for you guys to step it up.
This is definitely going to be a big time for them to rise their gameplay to the next level, because yesterday was not a good showing. Actually, talking about a bad showing, there was no showing. They did not show up. I barely saw them the entire game. So KHK, they need a drastic change of gameplay. One thing that's going to change right off the bat is going to be their drop a little bit. They didn't drop Cal yesterday. Yesterday, they were very focused on the northwestern island. So they're going to be a little bit all over the place, testing some stuff out. But with this circle, odds are you're going to have a northwestern island finish. It could have a hard shift elsewhere. But this is why playing next to the river, like where Eraser Crew currently are, where the likes of also Spaza Six are so valuable, because you can easily rotate from island to island and make your overall early game experience a lot more enjoyable. So I think that teams like, also not only that, but also YONKOUS next to Ruins and also INF in Painan, they can easily make up for a hard circle, which is why I think playing next to the river in the early stage is so valuable, and seems like teams are starting to understand it. But DROGONS, they understood that taking early game fights are not great, and they're trying to avoid it. But ATLmagicians, they're on a mission. Mission on forward. But let's not forget that last time, Ash, he got shut down early by a pistol. So he's hoping to, this time around, it's not going to happen again. So he's going to be very cautious of his next move.
I feel sorry for both these teams, though, because they're sat in a position where, okay, Magicians, they're not in the bad spot, but Drogons, they're just starting to find their form again. You know, we're starting to like what we see from them a bit more. And they're both right near to each other. So it doesn't benefit from them. And we do actually have a Vegeta, and then we almost have a Zelda in here. Vortex looks like he's been in an adventure from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, man. Just saw the news. Oh, no, I'm not going to spoil it. You know what? If you guys, hey, Pokemon Direct went live. It's pretty cool. There's some cool announcements, but I don't want to spoil myself too hard. So I'll check it out later, okay?
No.
I'm a big
Jeff.
Oh, man. Hey, man. Oh, yeah, Jess went down. Pokemon X PUBG Mobile crossover. Make it happen. PUBG Mobile team. Make it happen.
You imagine?
I'll buy it all.
Pikachu hats.
Oh, yes.
By the way, Bot Jeff, I'm not even going to say sorry for you because he tweeted at me during the game while we were on break and said, you're supposed to be casting. I was casting. I just tweeted at the break and I saw the announcement and me and Max got hyped. We enjoyed it, you know. These things happen. Now you suffer because you called me out and you're knocked. You could be going down again early on. I had love for you, bro, but maybe I'm going to have to turn around on this. Because the Magicians, they certainly want to turn around on you. They've already lost one player, though. So do they really want to push on in here and fight? They're aware that the Drogons are near, but the Drogons are completely prone and they're not making any noise. Legacy, no, not the pan. It's not the time for the pan. Oh, no. As soon as he makes one step, Blade's there. Noise being made. Oh, that's not what you want to see. The Magicians now, 2 players lost instantly. Drogons, though, under fire. And he's quite low. No. Vortex still gets it done. Oh, Blade. So close, yet so far. He could have had that. Now Dan's a bit late to the party. Still looks like he wants to get involved in this. It is a technical 2v2, but I want to see the Drogons play together. They do actually want to fight this. But they've also got to balance up here the risk versus reward. There's a huge risk if any of them die anymore. Both these teams, I said, it's not going to benefit either of them. They're now in such a terrible position so early on. We are just 4 minutes into the game, and both of you have lost players and only have 2 players to play with.
We talked about this yesterday. After such a bad first performance coming out from Drogons, they can't afford today to have a bad performance. Yeah, sure, they got 8 points on that first game, which they more than doubled their points of yesterday. That's good, but it is not enough. You need to avoid these early game fights, especially in Sanhok, and they just got caught with their pants down. So hopefully they understand that this fight is just not worth their time. I believe they're also pretty much underlooted. Tier 1 helmet, tier 1 vest also. No meds whatsoever, only 5 bandages, and also 1 first aid kit for Nero. That is not more. That is not enough. Clearly is not enough for whatever is coming your way. So, Drogons, this is still a pretty tricky position to move away from, but Dan is in a spot where he could just move back if needed. If he's got some smokes, that'll make it a lot easier. Without smokes, it could be a little bit hard. Overall, Drogons, they put himself in a position that is very sticky. It's not hard to get away from, and they get it. They know, hey, we can't easily move from that spot. Nero could easily escape from there. But Dan, that's a completely different ball game. And as I said, Nero is going to start moving, maybe looking for a sneaky off angle. Overall, this is not a good spot to be in for the entirety of Drogons.
It really isn't. It has not been a pretty start to the playoff stages. And I said if they don't get enough points today, I can't see them even having a chance of making it. Remember, we'll be halfway through at the end of the day. Only 2 more days left after this. There's already teams getting over 50 points by a fair amount now. Some more shots are going to be heard and fired off here. The Magicians are being cautious. They don't want to move. It's a very true stalemate here. Dan is just chilling behind the rock, hoping the Magician's going to make a mistake. Nero's been making a fair amount of noise, but they're aware of where he's going to be. Ash is just on the hunt, waiting for him to overextend and try and take him down. Oh, Vortex, you're playing a bit of peekaboo at the door. Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah, pop the doors. That's okay. That's how you want to do it. This is... Oh, wait, what? What? Oh, no, you actually forget. Man, you just shoot the door and then you're leaving yourself taking shots from that position. Vortex, come on, my dude. Nero found himself some good damage. Going to pop a few resources away because D2 teams have not had a lot of time to loot up. So you could also keep in mind that Vortex, maybe he's out of meds. I mean, he hasn't been healing right now. That tells to me that he's got maybe nothing, maybe no bandages even, which would be very surprising for him to have that little in terms of looting. And they are both pinned down. MGC can't move away. Drogons can't move away. So they're in a very sticky position. And not only that, they're on the far eastern side of this phase 1 circle.
Yeah.
All the teams like Pain Africa, Slime 4KT, Temper, they're all towards the west of where they are currently. So sure, they might even win that fight. And not only that, there's also another team down south of their position, which is Blackjack Esports. Winning this fight, sure, that would be good, but you got other teams around you, and as a two-man squad, atlmagicians and also DROGONS can't afford to take those head-ons, so they are in a really bad spot. Talking of being into a bad spot, DT of Spaza Six going to get caught out in the open. But PAINAF, not sure if they want to go for the flush. They don't want to be too greedy on this one, but Hansley is going to push it anyways.
Hansley, ever confident. We see it time and time again. Spaza Six are going to try and come to the rescue, but Berserk, he has spotted him out, going to take some shots. Oh, he can't quite land him. A fair few misses with that one, and he's not going to be happy. Hansley escapes. And the rest of INF, they're working their way around the side. Spaza Six need to make a decision. They need to make it quick. They've lost 2 players already. And I'm surprised they're still going for this. They're working their way up. And Berserk, I respect the confidence. I'm never going to shut a player down for that. But you are heavily outnumbered and seriously outgunned.
After the thing is that INF, they understand how valuable this position is. So I understand why they want to try and contest to Riverside. They don't want to take the fight head on. They just want to bring some respect their way. INF going straight for the Riverside. There you go. They got a good compound nearby. It's uncontested, which is why I'm surprised that YONKOUS did not go for that spot initially, because they already had themselves one player in that spot, and I thought the entire team would move there, but no. So YONKOUS are nowhere to be seen on the outskirts of Ruins. And at least INF, this time around, they're not going to be pushing into Ruins, so that's a good thing. Talking about pushes, Blackjack Esports sending MG over. Got spotted out. Oh no, such a bad spot. Hey, good retaliation though.
Yeah, he jumps up and takes the shots. He will find himself being knocked, but the rest of Blackjack Esports are there. MG's going to go and look for cover, but True, he's well. Oh no, that's a huge shot from Cheddar. We've been impressed with Cheddar these last couple of days for sure. I didn't remember speaking much about him during the group stage, but in both days now for the playoffs, he's had these little moments where you just go, okay, you can deliver, you can step it up. Can he finish it off, though? Zane's there to try and help him out. True has healed his way back up, but all of Blackjack Esports are looking up towards him. And remember, SG only have 2 players in this, as we're going to see the circle shift, and it's a very nice even one. It's still split between the river, so we don't know what side it's going to go on just yet. But ultimately, I'd prefer to be over in the western side. But there's not a lot of room there, especially for the amount of teams we have left.
And not a lot of space, quite a bit of water actually in play. If now we have an island finish in the middle of the river, this will be, I'll just give up entirely on, and I'll give away all my hope and dreams about these circles. These are not fun to play with. And on the side, over to the east, still atlmagicians and DROGONS still on the standoff, and they are not ready to move away whatsoever. I think the Scrim Farm also up north. They got a good setup. They currently got a great 4-man split. Well, 3-man and 1-girl split, should I say. They were going to be holding on to that position, making sure they can easily roam around if we have a circle moving away from their position. And erase a crew. East of the river, next to the bridge. Haven't moved an inch, which is what you like to see. It's such a good position. You don't want to give that up for anything in the world. But seems like Spaza Six might have to give up their own spot. They're going to be forced down by the side of Cheddar. No, True, not going to be peeking up just yet. And True's been shown some big promises with his Car 98 plays, but I haven't seen a sniper in his loadout, very unfortunately, so he's not able to play at full force.
He's going to have to do more than play at full force. Him and his teammate need to work the advantage any way they can and try and force Blackjack Esports into a choke point, because it's 4 players looking to poke on in him. Berserk takes the shots, runs away, but he's going to struggle to escape. True is providing some cover fire, and they will find themselves a knock here. But MG, round the side, might be able to sneak up onto him. True takes some damage. They're trying to push on round, but they could play this really well. SG have taken some damage, but it's all about playing together as a team. Oh, they run and gun straight up into it. Only one more to find behind the rock. Oh, he went down as well. What? Who landed onto him? I didn't even see that one.
On Zane. That was True. They got himself a Chantadane, but that's unfortunately what they were able to find. I was surprised that we were seeing the entirety of Spaza Six holding very weak angles. The angles they were holding were not stopping a push to happen from Blackjack. And the moment that Blackjack just surrounding them is like a snake around their prey, you just can't slip around and away of it. So I think that was a little bit of a weak hold from Spaza Six on one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable compound in this game currently. So overall, I think that they got to try and understand a little bit more of the angle priorities as to which one you should hold to stop a push from happening, which they were just not able to do. The YONKOUS, they did move really early on from Ruins. I wasn't sure exactly where they went, but they went straight for the side of the mountain, up northwest. So they're going to be there uncontested as of now. There was a few players of existence up there earlier, so they've got to be careful if they do decide to push a little bit higher up. But overall, YONKOUS now, they're going to be dictating a lot of what's happening in this game. If the circle shifts on top of this position, goes to the west, a lot of teams are going to have to make it up there. And YONKOUS, that is a prime opportunity to start fragging out in many, many big ways. But fragging out, that's going to be another player, Vortex of atlmagicians, out of commission. As DROGONS trying their best to wrap around. I believe they're going to try and breach the circle through Tatmok, which I think is a good entry point. There's not too many teams that play there other than KHK eSports. But now I think is a good time for Scrimfarm mainly to try and regroup, because sure, they were split, trying to get a lot of information. That was good. But now is a time where you could be taking some fights where teams could be falling on top of you. So I'd like to see Scrimfarm reposition on where Snowix currently is, or even Yumi, but mainly Snowix is in a good spot in Hattin. But the circle pops, and there you go. It's one of those infamous Western mountaintop circle finishes. And so far, YONKOUS, this can potentially be a lot on their plate, mainly up against UAE and Gun coming over the river.
And for Gun, little do they know that what they could potentially be walking into. They're going to have to do some good scouting to ensure that they can actually make it across without losing any players. Exist, we touched on what they managed to achieve in the opening game today. Clutch finds himself with a huge high ground advantage to look down and potentially spot more players, but he's also keeping an eye behind him as well. Temper going to fill up on the kill feed. They'll get themselves a knockdown. They get themselves to finish off. We'll have to wait and see, but Temper's under fire at the same time. Multiple teams now starting to find each other, and that's what you expect when the circle shifts like this. Not an easy one for these teams to deal with. And this is Eraser, Temper, and SF all fighting at the same time for now. Temper got themselves a nice spot on the bridge. Error right up in front of them, just over the hill. Then SF, we can't quite see where they are, but they're close enough to land some shots. We're sharing out the ammo. We're sharing out the prizes here. There's Gunner from Temper as the player to already go down. And Temper, for now, they're going to struggle to push out of this.
There's not really much. And one thing I'm a little bit skeptical about here is KHK. They're entering this spot extremely, extremely soon. I'm saying in the next few seconds, they should be getting maybe an off angle onto Temper. And I think Temper has not been able to scout that too much because KHK initially were in Kao, made their way through Tatmok, and now are going to make it on top of the mountain very, very soon. So they are going to be surrounded by Scrimfarm, Eraser Crew, and KHK, which Temper, they do not want that to happen. And this is one of the teams that we hyped up as being second position team going into the group stage. And now here we're potentially looking for them to make it up to the next level. But they might be struggling quite a bit. Flacco jumping down. Okay. A little bit of a risky one. I thought Eraser Crew would be finding some shots, but he will make it away unscathed. But Temper, they are delaying that rotation, because here the only way out from this spot is or to take a big fight versus one of the teams or to straight up just swim on over. And they are waiting for the circle to pop for that to happen, because they are completely unsure of what's about to happen. But INF, they also make it on the mountaintop with the side of YONKOUS, so a lot of teams are going to make it up there.
Clutch.
So far there's still a lot of room, but yeah, Clutch found himself one knockdown. So an aim at all. Here we go. This is the time where the frags are starting to come on through. A lot of action is about to come out.
We said this was going to be a nice spot from him. Huge high ground. Yes, he's very split up from his teammates, but no one else is going to be able to wrap around them for the meantime. INF find themselves down the bottom, hoping not to be fired at anymore. They're going to be hoping they can escape some way. And Exist, they can just patrol this for now. Look on down and have a good idea of what's coming up around them. They don't have to move from here anytime soon, considering there's only 3 of them left in this lobby. They want to try and play the advantage wherever they can. As already, I'm trying to see where Gun are. Oh, they're right on the edge. They made it across the bridge. They found their way up. And they're passing their way across.
No.
And oh dear. Oh dear. What is with these circles?
Oh no.
Max, what's going on?
I did say initially potentially island finish. I'm sorry. I jinxed it. I should not have said that. Every time we say something, we do. It happens. Nero also falls to his death, so unfortunate for him. It's going to be all down to one player currently on their side. So Dan to see if he can indeed become once again the survivalist, just like in the group stage. But this is going to be all hell breaking loose on the mountaintop position. Existence going to have to move on down. INF also. YONKOUS already started their descent down below, but Gun is right behind on their heels. And there's not many compounds to go for. 2 of the compounds are already occupied. 2 compounds are still left open. And the island is going to be held down by Ash of atlmagicians. So he's going to try and go for a water finish. But atlmagicians, he's actually not a bad spot because no one is going to be paying attention to that small island. Rarely people do, so maybe able to get himself a water finish would be big for him. There you go, Gun getting involved on the back of YONKOUS, as I said, on their heels. And YONKOUS, they are looking to be in a pretty scary position all around.
That's nice for Gun. They've managed to successfully rotate in and find themselves getting into the fights. They're not finding themselves going down early on. This between Blackjack Esports and 4KT is the next one that's going to be going off. They're trying to play off the ridge lines for now, wherever possible. Poking up and down, seeing what they can find out. Mercury. Good to see KHK on the kill feed, but we need to see him get some placement points alongside it as well. Nades going on up, but no one going on down just yet. Plenty of grenade usage. These guys also need to be careful of other teams that might come out towards them. For now, 4KT can keep them at bay. They're right on the edge of the circle. But soon enough, they're all going to have to move.
KHK, oh no, they move straight center, try to move in front of everyone, and unfortunately now everyone's gone angle on top of them. Nowhere is safe for KHK. I'm already started losing teams, and KHK is going to be the initial one we lose very early on, and they are losing steam since the group stage, and they have not been able to catch any good games so far. Okay, also, team I've been voting for, going to be on the move. They got himself 2 kills so far. In the blue, a few players of Scrim Farmer around that. They are not expecting it, and there you go. One player strikes. Mestre is going to be knocked. The flush has yet to happen. They spot it, and that's going to be it. They find it once again. Snowix out of commission, and the flush is just about to happen, but is it going to get stolen? I believe it is, and it got stolen by... Question. I don't know. I didn't see you stole it, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
He killed himself. No!
It happens. Inspector, that's a long-range fight. Nicely done there. Knocks down Skull. Won't be able to finish him off as he's now down behind the rock, but Inspector's going to be looking on forward.
They're not dead.
Wow, really?
PAINAF? Oh, damn. Well, it seemed like that grenade did not help them. Yeah. That's an unfortunate one for the side of Gun, but you know what? That's going to liberate a lot of space over to the west, which teams desperately need, and I said it for Temper. They were under that bridge. The only way out was or to take a fight or to go straight into the water play, and seemed like the water play was the one obvious option for them to take. As Existence, this is still a good position, but unfortunately, going downhill from this position without a car, even though Sanhok is not really known for using cars, but this rotation here from the side of Existence is going to be so hard. And as I say, it clutches down. Zodiac is down. Flame is left stranded alone. And the circle is right on top of Pain Africa. This game is looking like an easy pickup for Pain team.
And poor Ash just jumps in the water and says, cool, guess I'm swimming now. I tried. I thought it might be the island. I regret nothing. I gave it my best effort. It could have gone my way. And now I just have to make my way forward. Here's a solo player as well. You know, you just make the most of it. You try and get further up. All the other teams probably not going to be looking just for one player in the water. They're going to be fighting out like crazy. And 4KT, well, they've been dealing with BJE for a long time here. They're trading off for now. And 4KT, they're heavily under pressure. It's 4 kills already for Blackjack Esports. Nukes is low. Cheddar already down on the floor. But look at the angle they have. They were ready for it. They're going in for the finish off. And they're going to try put them all down. Careful of the blue. Damage is going to be coming out as well, though. Zane now has to start his move. Now needs to start his walk on forward. He's going to struggle to even have time to be looting up much here.
Man, that circle again. It's going to be for Pain twice in a row in their favor, and they have been looking pretty in this game. Oh, Blackjack Esports, though, very low. Going to have to heal up. You said the blue zone. They can't afford to take the damage anymore. So they're going to have to stay on the move. Oh, I didn't even see Fex was there. He was right underneath a few of the players of Pain. So he's just chilling in that position.
What?
They have not seen him. This is big, actually. Oh, no, they hear him now. He's moving around. No. He's running. He gave the information over. They're coming to him. Oh, takes one. Big.
First.
Oh, 2.
Straight in. More shots coming out towards him. Will he have time to heal up? Tries to pop the first aid. He's running out of time and knows there's pressure being applied. Goes in for the shots, but he can't make it happen. A good effort. He's still got his team 1 kill. As he snuck away. I thought 4KT had been eliminated, but he was sneaky. He was chilling with Pain, saying, hey, I'm here, guys. You know, just let me chill. You deal with the other team. We can shake hands on this, maybe.
INF, they're not shaking hands on anything, though. They got himself game 1. Chicken dinner coming their way. Was a lot of points on top of that also. 24 total. And now they might be looking for back-to-back, but they got to cross over the road, and that's going to be super hard on the Sanhok game. The Maniac down to Hanad. And UAE got to keep on pushing the nades. I saw it, and he knows he's about to get naded. He has to stay on the move. Matrix will not be able to hit that initial grenade. They're still ticking down into the blue zone, keeping one play on the backside. UAE, they got to go for last man second push. Otherwise, this might just be the end of their venture. Oh, no.
Just on the edge. Just on the very edge. Cheddar. Oh, taking some shots in the smoke, nearly landing it onto Skydo. Continues to rattle off the bullets, but won't find any knocks for now. Blackjack eSports. Okay, they lost MG, but they've got 7 kills for now.
Maniac, no!
And they're looking on forward. Maniac ends up going down. He can't stand up any longer. And it's INF and Pain with great positions in this. As UAE, they're just on the outside, hoping they can get closer towards it. But with Maniac now being knocked, Matrix applying as many bandages as possible. He's got no more first aids. He's using up everything he can, and he wants to try and fight his way up in this. Pain knows the pressure is coming from every single corner, but with look at the split and how it is, and that is heavily outnumbered if they do want to just charge. And it's now INF that are going to be picking up the kills as the rest of the teams flood on in towards them. Matrix now starts running, starts moving. Oh, Chapo! Oh no! What you want to see? Now that in the window is going to be able to find one. They tried to sneak up onto him. But now, with him being so separated, this is going to be problematic. UAE, are they going to try and steal this away? Luckily, BJE, they're there in the background, and Nukiz is there to do the damage, but he is a solo player. It may be 8 kills for his team. He's got a hell of a lot more than that to do. He's snaking his way forward, and I don't think he's been spotted just yet, but it's INF. They are in a great spot to take down Pain. Already El Chapo, he was knocked earlier on. Beast runs on out, and before he can even escape, he's instantly dropped on down. INF now just to find the solo player, and they could be back-to-back chicken dinner wins. You're right, Max. Is it possible? Nuka's taken some shots, but maybe he's now given away his position. They finish him off, and INF go for the double winner chicken dinners, and they grab themselves a hell of a lot of kills with that one. In total, they get 24 points, 15 placements, and 9 kills. And now that's going to see them rise on up hugely towards the top of the scoreboard.
2 wins and 2 24-pointers. INF on a roll today, and they were fighting heavily for the circle. They were initially on that mountaintop position that I did mention as being a rather tricky spot to be in because so many teams are going to be slowly getting closer and closer to each other in that spot. And yet they come out on top. They had 24 points throughout all of yesterday, 24 points on game 1, 24 points also on this game. They love the number 24, and INF, they are running away with such a good position. I can't wait to see the overall rankings to see where that puts them after 2 back-to-back wins, the first back-to-back chicken dinners actually throughout the entire finals so far. So they are looking amazing. But Blackjack Esports, they had a win on game 4 yesterday, and you mentioned it earlier, Cheddar has been doing so much good work for the rest of Blackjack Esports. So they are looking to contest away this number 1 position at the end of the day. That was indeed their intention coming into today on their second day. And they're going to keep it up potentially. But Pain, seems like that unfortunately they were in a similar position to what 4KT had yesterday on game 3 on Miramar. And unfortunately for them, too many teams are coming at them at once, especially that one player 4KT that put so much issue in their hands. There was going to be Fex. And because they could not deal with it properly, they did lose another player, get another one knocked, and that allowed so many teams to get on closer. As now back into the rankings, and they have it. Influence Rage Africa after 2 back-to-back wins. Not only are they in second position, but they are only 6 points away from Undisputed African Esports. So one more game like this, or not even just a top 3, and Influence Rage Africa, INF, could be on the tippity top of this entire ranking system.
And the thing is, though, for Undisputed African Esports, they continue to be consistent because even with that game, it was a 4th place and then 8 kill points for 16 points in total. So every single game, they're still doing some damage. They're still rising on up. Scrim Farm, we were very impressed with what we saw from him yesterday. They've slowed down a little bit this time around. They've still got 2 games left for today, so it's not the end of the world. But now we're starting to really see the titans of this lobby starting to rise up and find themselves some success. I'm still surprised every time I see the YONKOUS down in 10th place, just because I have so many moments in my mind, but they've just not been able to get as many placement points as they want. They've been heavier when it comes to the killing side of things. The DROGONS still struggling to get things going a little bit here. The same for Art of Killing Esports and KHK. It looks like a different team, Max. I'm sorry to point them out, but like this does not seem like the team we saw in group stage. Something is missing here.
Yeah, it was the weirdest idea to just full send it center circle over the bridge. Also, they had no scouting done. They were just going in completely blind. And then there was teams that had angles literally every single position on them. So overall, KHK, this is not even requiring a small change. This is asking for a huge change. There's something going wrong with the team. I don't know if it's internal. I don't know if it's just they've been trying something different that's not been working out for themselves. But KHK has been, I would say, pretty disappointing when it comes down to these finals. So, and this is to the point where we said 2 bad days. That's where we start cutting the line. That's teams that are not going to make it. And KHK, they got 2 more games to go to potentially make up for that first game and second game of today. But KHK, they have been dropping the ball super hard and not in a good way of the term, unfortunately. So hopefully they can make it happen. And Blackjack too. We're going to go on to a team that now has been doing pretty good. We want to keep it good. 69 points. Very nice, by the way. Making it in 3rd position. And there you go. Overall, the side of Blackjack has been able to rise up to the occasion in many, many ways today. And also yesterday, taking himself game for chicken dinner for themselves. So they got to keep it up. You know, Blackjack Esports, they keep on getting some consistent results like they've been doing so far throughout these 2 days. And they could be looking to contest Undisputed African Esport in that number 1 position. So overall, we have some teams that have been definitely showing off some really good plays and some teams that have not been able to show up. So hoping to see a few of these teams adjust on the go, especially during today, because they have no other option in the matter. And that's it, really, coming into this one. It was a Sanhok game. It was an interesting circle regardless. It was heavily in favor of Pain that gave them a free 3rd position minimum. And other teams that have been, unfortunately, taking some fights that didn't make much sense. Mainly thinking of atlmagicians versus DROGONS. That one was a weird one. But I think that even they were not expecting that to happen. They're just like, oh, wait, there's a team there. Well, now for the next Sanhok games, hopefully they'll realize that there are going to be a lot more positions being contested early on.
I really, right, if I'm those 2 teams, when you see this kind of movement, I understand, especially when you don't have many points, you want to play the catch up. But ultimately, in a fight like that, even if you go 4 versus 4, unless you're super lucky, you're probably going to lose 1 player at least. These guys had that drawn out fight for the longest time. It really didn't benefit either of them, and they both suffered for it. Sometimes it's good to just say, see you guys, yeah, but you can have this, we'll just back away, you know, and just go and reposition, because they both wasted so much time there. Eventually, they were then hunted down afterwards anyway. The fights just continued. So it just took so much time, took so much effort. They lost out either way. And fair enough. We saw Ash, he tried to chill on the island. He was hoping that maybe he'd be benefiting from the island ending. It didn't work out, but he still found himself somewhere up there, at least to grab some placement points. That's not the end of the world, you would say. But next, Max, we're moving on to Miramar. And we get to see potentially a normal game, because this one was a bit more normal. I'll give it that. It could have gone wild. There was some hard shifts in there, but we'll have to wait and see, because Miramar's what's coming up next. So you're at the halfway mark for today. We got 2 more games coming your way. Get yourself a drink, get yourself some snacks. Me and Max will get ourselves refreshed, and we'll see you in just a few moments. Sanhok saw us find back-to-back chicken dinners go the way of INF, and we don't see it all too often, and it was a special start here for these guys. Can they do a triple? Can it be possible, Max? Is it potentially on the cards? Because we're going over towards Miramar next, and that is one that I think will be a struggle for teams like INF, because we see it get a little bit more crazy, a little bit dicey when it comes to this map.
I mean, we almost had a triple win back to back to back at one point. It was from Undisputed African Esports in the group stage. They got a win, then the second position, then they win. So we got close enough. Maybe today will be the one for the side of INF. It would be a big one. But on the map, such as Miramar, it's all about rotations. We know that INF, they're a team that loves taking them fights. They love playing hyper aggressive if possible. But rotations is a little bit of a different ball game, I would say. So I'm hoping to see INF be on their top tier game. Hopefully, in terms of IGLing, I want to see some big rotations coming out from them, because Miramar is all down to rotations when it comes down to it. So back, I want to talk about another team real quick that we seen played a little bit weird, I think, on that last Sanhok game. And coming into Miramar, I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, because you can't afford to do a mistake like that. Is the side of Scrim Farm Africa. Scrim Farm, that last game, they were very split, which I think was good in the early stages, but then they did not regroup, hitting the later stage circles, which it was a big issue, and they were not ready to take any of the fights. So coming into a game of Miramar, the reason why they took away a second position yesterday, thanks to Yumi also, was because they were sticking there as a full squad, playing together and pushing forward towards a global objective that was the objective similar for all the players. And I hope to not see that coming out from Scrim Farm, because man advantage is big and super important when it comes down to Miramar. So hopefully, we're looking at this team of Scrim Farm Africa, and I'm hoping for them to revert back to their A game, how they were playing yesterday on that map, because they were doing great. Because that's a few little things that hopefully we're going to be seeing Scrim Farm Africa perform a little bit better than what we saw last game.
And that's what is needed, right? Because we praise them of how consistent they were in the opening day here for the playoffs. Coming into this, they've started to drop down a little bit, but it's also other teams stepping it up. And this is what can happen. The nerves can be on day one, and the pressure can be there. But then you start to realize, okay, look, we're starting to understand things. We're starting to learn what some of these teams do, who might drop there. For other teams, though, they're maybe not learning where they should be hitting and where they should be going just yet, because we're still seeing some clashes. When it comes to Miramar, I'm going to come back to it again. DROGONS, they found themselves incredibly uncomfortable very early on, got forced off again. I'm wondering if they're going to change their spot. I'm wondering if they're going to move elsewhere, because I think for them, this is the decision they need to make now. Stop sticking to your guns, start finding more space if you want to have a chance of grabbing any more points, because it's looking bad. Right now, they're down in 14th place still. Okay, you've gone on up a little bit further, but this isn't good enough for a team that we know can be very capable.
22 points so far. They're definitely going to have to push it the extra mile if they want to hope in making it back into a good position. If they can make it back in top 10, I think for today at least, that will be a good first attempt, a first good push. That's going to help them out a lot. But we had some big hot drops also yesterday. Valdemar was an interesting one. A few teams being out of position early on. So I'm hoping to see that just, overall trying to fix out and iron out the few mistakes we did see happen yesterday for a lot of the squads. So at the end, it's going to be a game on Miramar. We're going to see where the playing path is coming on through, because most of the time it does come down to where the playing path comes out, and if a few teams have to go for secondary drop location where they just do not know a few teams might be in the overall surroundings. But that's it. Miramar, it's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully a normal circle like we had yesterday would be fun, and we're going to be getting in this one very soon.
Well, let's see who's going to be born to win this time, Max. The match is about to start, and this is the moment of truth for all of the players in the lobby. Will you have the support of your mobile phone? Well, when it comes to mobile gaming, not all smartphones are created equal, and the Oppo has specifically designed its latest features with this in mind. The Reno 5G is the perfect match for PUBG. It has remarkable power and speed, plus best-in-class graphics and audio for the ultimate entertainment for your favorite gaming sessions. Now, let's start the game, and let's get ourselves into Miramar, and let's see who is going to be the winners of this game coming on through. Again, there's a lot to play for. There's teams right now who are getting closer and closer to 100 points. We got 78, 72, 69, and 64. All of these guys are working their way up, and soon enough, it might be possible.
Could be possible indeed. Hoping that we're going to have some teams make those comebacks happen, and some teams on the top maybe try and contest that number one spot all around. One good thing that's not going to be contested, though, is Valdemar. As I mentioned, it was a position yesterday. Some big action was unfolding early on, but this time around, it is only going to be atlmagicians in that position all around. So that's already a big improvement from these teams from this lobby in general. Now, playing path also, we talked about it. It's very important. Valdemar all over to Torre Ahumada. This is actually a really good playing path. Most teams will easily get access to their drop location. Might have to stretch it out a little bit, but nothing too substantial all over the place. DROGONS going back down south towards Minas del Val, over to the east actually of Minas del Val. So they're not looking to be contested early on, but I'm looking at Picado. I'm seeing 2 teams towards Picado actually. They might have to take the drop on each other. Blackjack are going to be in that spot with Undisputed African Esports, but it seemed like Undisputed African Esports, they saw the teams of Picado being in there. There was going to be Blackjack, and they just started dropping really far away, potentially picking up a car. A phase 1 circle pops up. No biggie on this one. Really, this is an easy circle. Phase 1 with a good playing path. You can't complain about this.
You're going to be happy with this one for sure. I'm happy that I'm seeing the Magicians and the DROGONS not be too close to each other. But Shade and Kingerman, they're going to find themselves nicely close. And Shade ducks on down. He's aware of it, but he only has a pistol in hand for now. And he's not fully aware of what the other player may have. He's now going to grab himself the Mac, and he might want to try and fight it now. But Kingerman, I like this. This is my kind of player. You see it, you even had good loot, and he goes, do you know what? I'm on my own. I don't know who else is around. I'm just going to walk away. I'm not going to fight this. I'm not going to be crazy. And this is the best decision you can make, because if you go down early on, even if you go, oh, I'm a better player, I can get the kill. It's great. But the risk you have for the rest of yourself and your team is not ideal. He's going to find himself a vehicle. He's going to go join back up with the rest of his teammates, and he should be pretty good as long as he doesn't catch any fire going out towards him when he tries to rotate around. Oh, nope. Just be careful in the car as well, you know. You want to make sure it stays up on its feet.
Yeah, the party bus, not fun to use in Miramar, unfortunately, with a harsh terrain. You've got to be a little bit careful, but otherwise, it shouldn't be too much of an issue for him to make it away. But overall, I do fully agree with you there, Banks. It's great that he understood that that was not a fight worth taking. Good respect coming out from him. That is what I would like to see from a lot of the other teams in this lobby all around. I think that sometimes teams are a little bit overconfident, which being confident is good. Overconfident in esports. I think in not only PUBG Mobile, I think any game, and you know, you work also in CSGO there, Banks, and I think that it's safe to say that when players think that, oh, I can do it, I'm on top of everyone, that's where sometimes some big mistakes happen. So it is a team game. Playing with your team is indeed part of the game. So good up from him. Yes,
the advice I always give on that, like, you say about teamwork, right? And I always say, oh, hello.
Hi.
I was like, oh, there we go, a little party music, why not? No, I always say when you're touching on the teamwork side, right, and playing together as a team, the biggest things is you can be a great player, but if you don't communicate, you're not a good player for your team. I've seen many individually skilled players in different games, and I see it, and then they don't communicate enough, they don't pass the information on, but you see them fragging out, and it means they cannot be helped. For me, communication is the key to success in any team game. If you can nail that down, you can train the rest, you can improve the rest. Team synergy, team understanding, that is what's key.
Oh, saw one player of YONKOUS find himself a punch. And Lewis now from YONKOUS is going to be stranded away in this compound. It's pretty hard to disengage from without a car or any kind of utility. I wonder, do Eraser Crew know Lewis is there? From what it seems like, I don't think they do. And the rest of the team is going to be joining up. There you go, YONKOUS, the cavalry is now here, joining up on the party with the muscle car. Going to slowly wrap around to the position of Lewis. Are they coming to pick it up, or are they coming for the fight? That's what I'm thinking, but no, it seems like they're going to make their way to Lewis, and they are here to stay, it seems like.
Well, let's see who's going to be able to potentially win off this fight. Brad, being cautious, making sure he's keeping his back turned. He's just holding a slight angle. Ooh! He didn't hold the trigger discipline. He did not wait for that one. He took the shots. And but you just hit all the shots all the time. What is this, man? He's going to go in for the finish off as well. Brad, you don't stand the chance in that one. That is not what you wanted to see happen. I feel like if he didn't take the first shots, then yeah, but may have not had the full information on where he was. But that is now a problem because Rise is in the background, in the back lines, and the rest of YONKOUS are running up towards him.
On the open. It's waiting for it, Rise. 1v3 takes a lot of damage initially, down to 50% health, and that's going to be an easy pickup for Julmenk. And even had loops on the background just to, you know, be there as a background support just in case. And that's going to be not a full team elimination, but still 3 frags coming their way. And come on, A-OK. I voted for you guys. You can't be jumping out of cars like that. Mystery, come on. Making me look bad now.
It can certainly happen. YONKOUS is going to be very happy, though. That's 3 kills with no casualties for them. They played it together as a team, but it was a bit of an error from Erase that they were able to get 2 kills there very easily for YONKOUS without any trouble fighting back against them, you know, because the first kill they find, Brad went down, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And we were like, then the other players on his own. Rise could even back away from it. And that's how you want to be able to play it. That's the ultimate gift. If you find them so separated and solo, that's when you can take full advantage of situations like that and do it with little to no casualties.
That's indeed going to be how they're trying their best to play it. 61 players still in this one. So it feels good, at least on this game. We did have 3 players just go down, but at least we do have every single team coming in as a 4-man squad, which we did see that happen. For example, in the group stage was 777. Even yesterday, I think we saw a team or two coming in with some games that are the 3-man team. So at least this lobby is full, which I think is great. That's an overall really good improvement. So thank you guys for being here as a 64-player lobby. That is amazing. That is fantastic. But I want to focus a little bit more on the circle here, talk about what's happening. Initially on this playing path, we had a lot of players already centered up on the circle, so I'm not expecting too much movement. Though what I am expecting a little bit of movement is, especially for the teams up north. Mainly here we got INF. They did go a little bit further away from the playing path. They went towards La Cobrillera, so they can easily make it in. There's not too many teams contesting northwest or southeast, so they can still easily make it in. Same for also Existence and KHK that dropped towards Torre Ahumada. They might encounter each other, which actually going talking about them, they're going to have a little bit of a switch potentially coming out and see how they want to decide to rotate in. But 4KT also looking for an opportunity. And they're going to be making their way towards the chapel, and over there is going to be a Spaza Six. But this is not an easy position to push on without a car. Even Smokes makes it rather tricky, so I think that here, if you are on the side of 4KT, you want to look for the kills. You should definitely use a car to do that one, but overall, it is not worth it. That is really if you're just being an extremely, extremely greedy team, which normally you should not be upon a phase 1 of Miramar. Phase 3 and 4, I'll allow it, but phase 1, you don't have to push anything, especially with a circle as normal as this one. If a team does that, I'm going to call it a throw. Even if they win the fight, I'm still going to call it a throw. It doesn't make much sense. So hopefully, team's just going to be sure, holding those shots, holding those angles, making sure no one gets close, because at the end, you never know. It is PUBG Mobile after all. But just making sure that you do not push anyone and that nobody also pushes you.
Now, I know we can see 3 members of 4KT, but they've got 4 alive, and I can't see where Pronto is. So is Pronto making some great escape somewhere? Is he trying to sneak up behind him or something? It's interesting.
It's a good spot from Coco, actually. Normally, that's where you become just the tower vision, the eye of Sauron of your team. From that spot, you got visibility on, I would say, about a good old 30% of the entire circle from where he currently was. So hopefully they can hold on to it and not get it contested, because it is a great just scouting spot all around. Gun picking up with their cars. Party bus back under play. It's Nerf Me. Don't give Nerf Me a grenade. Otherwise, just like last game, he's going to nade himself, and you don't want to see that. The moment he naded himself, the entire team died. So Nerf Me, stay alive, please. I would really appreciate it. Though, KHK, Existence did not fall up against each other, so that's good. But this is rather a hard shift. Like, I usually say, normally phase 2 circle is the most telling about where the circle is going to go upon Miramar. This one is not telling whatsoever. 50% is high ground mountains, 50% is low ground, just with a few compounds and a lot of overall fields. So this is not a fun circle, because you just do not know what style of gameplay should adapt to, and I think that's what makes this game entirely very scary. So Razor Crew already down to 1 player, and it's going to be Impulse. They lost most of the players to YONKOUS, and they want to finish the job. Boob's looking for it. Molly up, trying to deny especially points of visibility through the windows, etc. Impulse moving himself back, finds a little bit of a nook and cranny. Lewis should be trying to join up with the rest of his team, but Impulse in a really bad spot in a 1v3 currently. I do not think they're going to allow him to move out from this one. This is looking very, very poor for a Racer Crew.
Yeah, they've fully been on the hunt for a Razor Crew from start to finish. They want the final piece for their collection. But it's just Impulse that remains, and he's just desperately trying to hide down. I think he'll be spotted no matter where they look here. If they just bypass him, that'll be pretty impressive, as Gun manages to blow up the beast from Pain in the car. Impulse can hear this all going on. No one's actually checked out towards him, and now they seem to back away. Maybe they thought he's wrapped around them. Reverb's going to be taking his bike not too far away. They're going to take some shots at it. Impulse, this could be your time to run away, as Reverb looks for some cover. He's heavily under fire. He finds himself getting knocked down, and they're going to be very happy with that one. The rest of KHK are coming on round, but will they just leave Reverb there? Will they even engage in this? Because KHK, they're a team that can't afford to be taking some fights, so they may lose. Oh, no!
I swear, man. Oh, no, he sees it! Oh, no!
Impulse! You nearly got away with it, my friend. loops.
He had everything
cheeky,
covered.
if you
He had
like.
everything covered but the rooftop. Oh, that's such a feels bad, man, overall. I wanted to talk about Reverb also. I got the impression his speciality is rotating alone and dying alone. Which is also my speciality, by the way, but we'll talk about that later on in another subject. But Reverb is going to try and crawl his way backwards. Sully may be able to give some coverage. I'm surprised I'm not seeing any smokes come out from KHK to potentially get to Reverb, but yeah, he's super low right now. He's just got a few seconds to live, and he indeed is going to be bleeding out, I do think. Sully going to go for it? Man, that's a risky one. He is giving it a good shot, but yeah, Reverb, nah, it's too late. He understood he's going to be dying out to the blue zone. Oh, sorry, not to the blue zone, just bleeding. And that is going to be a casualty picked up by none other than YONKOUS themselves. So they are off to a banger of a Miramar game, up to already 5 kills. Sure, Jolmek already died. But the circle, though, not really being in their favor. They got to move on forward. Got the cars, finish up the looting station. And they got to be looking for the future here, because the circle did shift very far away from their spot, heavily over to the west on top of Chumacera and Ladriera. So hopefully they will be on the move ASAP.
UAE up on the kill feed as well, as Temper are looking over towards Blackjack Esports. They found Cheddar being knocked down though, which means Blackjack Esports got a decision to make on how they want to play this out. Zane going to continue to roll on forward in the vehicle and join up with everyone else. Smoke's down to give them enough cover. They've got to be very careful being out in the open like this. Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
We went from a hard western shift to almost a perfectly hard northern shift as well. It's benefited INF, though. They find themselves in a very good spot. And considering what's left around here, they might be able to grab themselves a beautiful compound to fight from here. This is something they could really work with. I'm not going to say it just yet because it's still very early on, but 3 chicken dinners back to back to back.
Maybe. They're going to try and make it happen for sure. I'm loving the rotation of YONKOUS. For the small time where we were able to actually see the circle, it was really well played. They're going through the blue zone next to San Martin, but Slim, indeed, that's a big ouchie. Himself one good Mini 14 shot. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on that knock, and they will not be able to find the flush. This is taking things very slow once again. They're on a position that's very risky, though. If a team was down south of their location, this would be gun dead. So, but they understand, and I do believe they did scout beforehand. I was not really looking at what they were doing before this fight. But if they know as a straight-up fact that no one is down south of their location, they can easily hold on to this angle. The circle, as you said, it's almost a perfect northern shift here, Banks. And a lot of the teams are going to be just slowly walking on top of each other, struggling to find a good spot. So they got to be very cautious of their next move. It seems like Scrim Farm finding a mestrate of A-OK. So a lot of fights are currently breaking through. Oh, come on. What's happening? UAE, A-OK?
A-OK are being destroyed.
Oh,
Leader's still in the background, but there's no deaths here for SF just yet. They picked up 3 kills, and they'll be looking for the 4th. They're looking for doing a whole squad wipe. And they're even taking some more shots here. Ansley from INF, he's under attack. A few shots come back towards Snowix. He's going to have to hide away as Yumi is looking for another opening with this, but there's so many angles to check, and they don't have all the information they need to understand fully where INF are going to be right now. They're just going to take the pop
This is the
shots
scrim
out
farm
there.
I wanted. Oh, they're so close. Nice peek and shoot from Ellie, by the way, with the SKS. But this is, I was just about to say, this is the scrim farm I wanted to see on game 2 on Sanhok. Stand together in a compound like this. This is good. Oh, that last bullet actually connected. That was a headshot, I believe, actually, with that much damage coming on through. I do believe that was the case. So that shows that at least there should be a tier 3 helmet. Oh, no, it's a tier 3 helmet, actually, but it took a lot of damage. So overall, Hussein should be good to go. But there were also dead center circle. Like, they have been given this circle dead central, so they do not have to move whatsoever. They can just take a few shots and deny position all around. Coco, though, in a really bad spot. Gunnar just going to be blazing on through. They will find himself a stop location. They are inside the circle, which is not the case of Spaza 6. Spaza, how are you going to do this? How are you going to move away from this position? Because Gun definitely know they got the advantage currently, as the blue zone is slowly going to be ticking down on the health bars of Spaza 6. But Berserk, finds a Plaza. Val gets himself a headshot of his own onto Berserk.
Gun now have to be very cautious. Slim, quite low on health. The blue's ticking away. The circle has continued to benefit INF. It's there looking beautiful for the teams that are already within it. This southern side is going to be heavily contested. Look how many teams still have to work their way in. Gun are being picked apart, and this is not what they want to see at all. Vile still trying to take as many shots as possible, but they can't quite make them all connect. Coco with this nade pinned and ready. He's cooking it. He wants to throw it over the top. Tries to land it, but it doesn't quite go over. More nades come out towards him as well. There is a battle to be had here. As the bike's just running on through casually. All right, bit of a risk, but he's going to take it. And he said, oh, no, he doesn't survive. Still goes down. He tries to speed his way through. But both these teams, they stop fighting each other just to finish him off.
Yeah. Spaza should have never tried to take that. Yeah, they should have never taken that, Spaza. They were taken down in the blue zone. It's phase 4. You don't want to stay there for too long. This was, I would say, a big kind of a throw on there, and they should have just rotated up to the western edge and tried to avoid this fight with gun as much as possible. They are taking a car. 4-man squad rotation. A little bit risky on these Miramar maps, but you know what? They're going to make it happen regardless. Hopefully no one spots them out. They're going straight towards the side of KHK, so seems like they're going to go for a temporary stop over here, maybe, towards this warehouse. Oh, no, they're not. They're keeping on going. They're not able to scout whatsoever. The blue zone is going to be on their tail very soon, so they're going to be maybe crashing onto KHK. No, they're going to be stopping temporarily in this position. It's pretty good, but Temper, from where they are, they could have the perfect off-angle gun. They had no idea Temper won that position, and was only one car. If that car explodes, they got to walk their way over to KHK, and that's going to be the single worst position for gun to be in.
Yeah, it's very open. Multiple teams around them. KHK, yeah, okay, we saw him lose reverb early on, but they still got 3 players and a good compound to fight from for now. Multiple shots being taken. It's Temper that light up gun straight away. Vile finds himself going down, but that may not be the last. The 4KT, but they're playing around with the ATL Magicians here.
Oh, yes.
Aimer with the nade in hand. Pronto coming out at the same time. Nade goes down the floor, but Aimer, he can't get the gun out in time. Shots coming out towards him, and Vortex will finish him off. Pronto still fighting out against Ash. They jump all over each other, but it's not looking good for 4KT.
Oh. 4KT coming down slowly. Storm's going to be on the go. Oh, this is not looking great. Though he's going to be on the front line. Has no idea where the players are currently going to be. Pre-fire, maybe able to connect, but Fex also in the back line, not going to be fully there. Oh, he gets the intel with a third-person perspective. Storm, here the pin. They're not going to push it just yet. Close the door, make it sure. Oh, they open it again. Leave it closed. Leave the nade closed, please. Oh, my God. How did he survive that Legacy? Oh, my God. Storm, godly nades, and the Molly will connect onto Legacy. There's now ATL Magicians down to 1. It's going to be Vortex in a 1v2 versus Storm and Fex. 2 awesomely talented player. He's going to get pushed up the building. He's alone, gonna get pushed up through the stairs. Storm looking for that 1-on-1, and he's able to find it. And that's 5 kills going away off Storm and Fex, but unfortunately they're only down to 2 players. They lose Aim Pronto along the way. The hairbanks, the circle's about to shift. If it goes again on the position of INF, I don't know what I'm gonna say or what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna call Bias Circle all around, because this is already 2 wins in a row, and they might be given a 3rd one. That would be insane to have happen today.
And they're not far away from it. But it benefits SF a little bit more. We come back to Gun, and they've lost Vile throughout this fight. Everyone else is still up. The car's burnt out, but they do have the cover they need. But they're playing a dangerous game. They're poking, they're taking a few shots. They've got Temper on one side, KHK on the other. But look how far they now have to go. This was a northwestern shift, and they now don't have the vehicle. You said about running out in the open. This is dangerous. They need KHK and Temper to run away before they can even decide they want to move. And Coco, how are you still alive? I thought he would have died out to the blue by now, but he somehow snuck his way in, and he's actually pretty much alongside Gun here. They may not expect this.
I don't know if he had a car or not, actually. Without a car, that's a super hard one. Do you know what? KHK, we sent it. They're going to have the angle on Gun eventually. And Temper like, okay, these 2 teams are cancelling out each other. We can just pick up the muscle car and go straight for the circle itself. There are a few hay bales positioned to go into. Got to be careful on the control of that car. Flacco maybe doesn't have his driver's license, but we'll overlook that entirely. There's Gun now on the move. And yeah, this is the position. This was what we were scared about the most here, Banks, is them trying to pull off that road. No! Temper, no! Hades of INF gets it. That's unfortunate for the sort of Temper, as they are out in 12th. Very little points going their way. The circle is also not looking bad for Gun, but KHK going to move on forward too. These 2 teams are in such a bad spot.
Temper aren't out just yet. 6 God is still up there with his teammate. So only 2 died to that car. 2 still remain, and they can fight this out. But now they're heavily wounded. Nerf me, probably just going to die out to the zone in the back lines here. He's looking to heal up as much as possible and see if he can grab himself some more points, as he knows more fights are going to be going down. KHK now just with 2 players as well. Look how many bullets come in towards them. The car's going to blow up.
Again.
But big boom takes place, and this time it's Temper to be able to take them down. They wanted to play a bit of the same game towards the opposing team. And BJ out in the open. Look at SF. They've got such a great spot. They haven't had to move here for some time. But look again. This is reminiscent of them last time on Miramar. Having a good position, but also being active. Also fighting out into it. They're never scared of getting involved in these fights. They don't just sit back and wait for people to come to them. But Ellie, he's spotted him out. He's seen him behind the crates. He wants to take some more shots. Gonna fire off a few bullets. But Temper do have enough cover for now.
Yeah, popping the smokes too. I don't think that all the utility in the world will not be enough to make it through such an open and flat terrain like this. Temper, they're just trying to buy as much time as possible. Hussein, great M shot with the M24, by the way. But Blackjack, I don't see the utility of those smokes they're popping off right now. They're not bringing much to the table. They should use those smokes to contest. This will be a position where if I'm Blackjack, especially this next circle that just popped up, use those smokes to cross over the road and full-on breach up against Scrim Farm. Otherwise, it's going to be the end of your game. I would say full send onto Scrim Farm. If you take that position, you are looking for a win. And if you don't, you're just going to take damage to the blue zone and lose your chances of potentially taking himself a big compound or a good position in this entire game. So personally, if I were Blackjack, I would say, you know what? Let's use the smokes to play aggressively, go onto the position of Scrim Farm and contest it, because Scrim Farm have the only good position in its entire game. Reminiscent of what happened yesterday, actually, with Slime 4KT. They had this exact position, and because they were being so proactive, they took the win. Scrim Farm, if they do exactly that, they should be looking at their very first win of the tournament.
And that would be huge, considering how consistent their first day was. They've moved a fair amount down the leaderboard and the rankings throughout today. But this would be a huge jump up if they can make it happen. Oh, Leader. He's trying to be sneaky. He's trying to play on the edge here. Time to move, Leader. No. Time to lead. I know you got the smokes. I know you want to stay alive. But teams may be busy at the moment. You can hear the shots.
Undisputed African eSports lose their top 1 position. They fall down in 3rd, which that's a big trend from both Blackjack and INF.
It is a big move here. INF, though, right? They were nearly looking to get 3 chicken dinners, and it would have been back to back to back, but it wasn't meant to be. Scrim Farm, they respectively jumped back up. But YONKOUS, I just got to have a look and see where they were before this. So they were down in 10th place, and they've gone all the way up to 6th after a win like that. And they played that so well. Again, it's almost like a meme now because we keep talking about the amount of good grenade usage from African esports here, but you're looking at this. This region is gifted with perfect mollies and grenades. I have never seen barrages like this in my life.
I'm just going to call them African utility. There you go. The African utility is what we're going to be calling it, because not only the grenades, the mollies are really top tier. I would love to see a little bit more usage of maybe just flashbangs. I do not see a lot of those, and flashbangs as of recently did get buffed up, so they did increase the AoE effect, so you can even use them in open fields now, which is really fun. I would like to see a little bit more of that one, but overall, I've got to say the nades and the mollies are definitely top tier when it comes down to it in these games. And then we had some early action still coming on through from teams you would not like to see that happen for, and not big movement happening in the bottom side, unfortunately. Eraser Crew getting way too close to a few other squads, and they're going to be dying to the hands of YONKOUS. So overall, the teams that we are looking to improve heavily their style and their drop locations and overall their gameplay in general have not been able to do so throughout these last few games. KHK, Art of Killing Esports, DROGONS, still on the bottom 3 positions, and a few teams above them are also in a really bad spot. So we're almost at the 50% point of these finals, and now having good games is not going to be enough. You need amazing games if you want to be able to make it back towards top 5 ASAP.
Yeah, it's really, unless you're over 30 points at this point, you have 2 incredible days. Realistically, you need to be in the 45 plus point to even have a chance of trying to win it. But right now, you'd have to show us more form than what you've shown us across all the games we've seen so far. And we've only got 1 more game coming your way today in Erangel once again. And right now, these teams are showing us, especially Blackjack Esports, INF, going out there. There's definitely a chance for a lot of them. But I'm just going to point this out, Max, is that I never expected it to get this competitive. I thought we'd have some front runners start to run away with it after day 1. But this has become very interesting. Scrim, even just in that game just then, they've proven they can sit within the top teams once again. I was worried about them dropping off after such a good day yesterday, but they're bringing it back. And if they can have another good game on Erangel, they can jump right back up. And this could be anyone's game with just 2 days left to have.
Was the group stage being so top heavy? I was 100% like you said. I was not expecting this one to be so competitive. I was expecting maybe a top 3 to remain pretty consistent, but it's a lot of back and forth. And Scrim Farm getting very close, currently standing in 4th, and also Slime 4KT in 5th position with 1 win under their belt. That was Miramar of yesterday. So overall, the level of competition is at an all-time high. When you're looking at it, really, teams that are currently all down, even to, I would even count teams like Temper in 10th position. They can still contest as the number 1 spot. We saw teams in one day pick up 50, 55 points like yesterday for Undisputed African eSports. So one banger of a day for a few of those teams that are in 10th position or above, and they could make it up there. So it is highly competitive, and that's the fun part, especially when only one slot is available. We can see that all these teams, they're putting their best effort out there to try and get in the number 1 spot to make in their respective PMPLs, because this is still the very first African PMCO. This is the first opportunity for African teams to make it in PMPL. And whichever team makes it up there must represent African region to their fullest. So only one team can make it, and they're all hungry for it for sure. Like, this is just an amazing one. And the action is intense right now on day 2. And I can't wait to see on day 4. Day 4 is going to have all hell break loose. That's going to be the most intense day of them all.
Oh, it really is. But continue this intense day, we need to go to a break first and bring you the final match. It's been an incredible say so far. INF, could they potentially pick up a 3rd chicken dinner of the day? We'll have to wait and see. But I know Scrim, with that performance they just showed us on Miramar, they'll be looking to prove a point on this final game. Let's see who takes it. Let's find out how it's all going to go down when we come back after the break. There's one more game coming your way today, and we move back on over to Erangel. We've seen some crazy games go down today, and probably our most consistent team overall has been INF. Not only did they get 2 chicken dinners today, but they also continued to rank highly on the placements and rack up the kill points as well. But I got to give a special mention to the team of Scrim AF after that game on Miramar, because Miramar seems to be where they come alive and have some success even in positions where it doesn't directly give them a huge advantage. They had to move away from that compound they had in the end. They were under fire from both sides. They made the best they could out of it, but they couldn't quite grab the win. And that's helped YONKOUS ride their way back up, and they're currently sat within 6th place right now. Just above them, though, is Slime 4KT, who found themselves going up a bit today. They're now back down a little bit, and they're just sitting this middle ground. For them, this is real tough because they know what they can do on the server. They know what they can get done and pull off, but they're not quite hitting the mark just yet. They've had that 1 chicken dinner in total, but they've not had the crazy kill point games just yet to really see them rise to the top.
The chicken dinner that they were able to get yesterday on Miramar was actually the one that allowed them to propulse themselves up to this current position of around, top 3, top 5, and just keep on moving around there. An extra win is what's going to allow them to move up an extra rank. So overall, they're getting some consistent results, again, some good points most of these games. And now an extra win is literally what they need. Or top 3. That will be also a good way of doing so. Top 3, top 2, top 1. That is what you want to see from the side of Slime 4KT. If you want to see them eventually breach top 3, I mean, they're close enough. They got 70 points so far. The third position is held by 78. You could expect that to move a little bit, but I would like to see them come into this one with a 10 or 15 pointer. If they do so, they should be in a really, really good spot all around. So hopefully that's going to be the case. But we're talking about consistent teams. The team you called out was Scrim Farm. I'm going to be talking about Blackjack Esports. 3 games. Out of those 3 games, they got himself a 2nd position and a 3rd position. So 2 top 3s, and they were able to climb their way back up because at the start of today, when we look at Blackjack Esports, boom, where is it? Boom. Blackjack Esports started in 3rd position, and it's very similar to what we saw with Slime 4KT. Just keep on getting those consistent results, and you're going to be remaining pretty close. And now, after those 2 top 3 positions, they're currently standing in 2nd with 81 points. Only 1 point difference, by the way. Oh, hey, from Influence Rage Africa in number 1. So they are contesting for that number 1 spot. They could be up there at the very end of the finals, but they've got to keep that continuity going because they've also been a team that's been fighting continuously throughout all of these games, very similar to YONKOUS, actually. So Blackjack, I just got to say, keep it up. There's no big things to change. Maybe sometimes be a little bit more confident would be my little thing. Don't be scared to sometimes just go and push aggressively for specific positions because Blackjack, I think, is a team that is hyper aggressive and they really play so well together when they're under pressure, going for those full-on engages. And I would like to see a little bit more of that coming out from Blackjack Esports because I think that might be the one little difference that allow them to turn a top 3 into a chicken dinner.
Now, one team we've been touching on in many positive ways have found themselves dropped down a fair bit in terms of gun. They came out and we expected them to hit the mark a little bit here, but are now down in 7th place. And they've had some games where they've certainly been struggling today. Right now, they've got 36 placement points and 26 kill points. And for 26 kill points, it's not bad. But when I think of gun, when I think of what these individuals can do on it, I expect a little bit more from them. So they've got some real catching up to do if they want to have a good shot at it. Because right now, the other teams are starting to run away. And okay, you look at it from their position, 62 points is what they've got. Above them is only 82 points, so it's 20 points. But just considering how consistent the other teams have been, Gun need to find their form very quickly here. Now, we know they can have some good success. They had a good Erangel game earlier on when we first opened up. Now they need to replicate this. But I think, like you mentioned on some of these other teams, we need to see the chicken dinners come through. Because right now, chicken dinners are the ones that can jump you up. We speak about consistency and always being within the top 3, top 4 to be up there. But when you really need a big boost, when you really need a jump at a time like this, okay, people may think, oh, what are you talking about, guys? You still got 2 more days after this as well. There's a telling sign of what can happen here because you're getting the consistency out of the players that understand the lobby, understand the teams they're going up against, and also understand the positioning they need to make. So, Gun, time for you to shine, boys.
Consistency is very important when it comes down to it, especially in the group stage. Making it top 16, some good points every game, that's what you need. But here we keep nailing this point down because it is so damn important. There's only 1 slot, and consistency, unfortunately, to make in the number 1 slot for the PMPL is just not going to be enough. So here you're looking at these teams saying, okay, top 3s, that's good, but is it going to be enough? Not really. You need to get a good, juicy amount of wins. And currently the team that's number 1 has got 2 wins, and that's INF. So they keep the ball rolling. Hopefully they can make it up there. But chicken dinners are extremely important when it comes down to it to catch a lead and put yourself in a really strong spot. And now we're back to Erangel. We know the map that I think we had a really good circle, a really good game on game 1. And now we're back onto it once again. So I'm hoping to see if some teams adapted because we did have a few early encounters. So I'm hoping to see those mistakes being ironed out throughout this game 4 because it is Erangel. It's a map that these teams and players know they're best. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do and try and adapt on this 4th game of the day.
I definitely think as well, I'm going to have to speak to Mamba and say, does he know what's going on with the likes of Temper and KHK right now? 2 of the teams that we were spoken so highly about when it comes to the group stages. In this playoff stage, they've not been able to find it. They've not been able to feel comfortable. And at times, it's been super awkward. So when we're watching them, right, you can see they're still trying to take some fights. They're just not finding the same kind of success.
They've been struggling quite a bit. They've not been able to find any success. I do not know at all, and I think is a good thing. We're going to ask Mr. Informant Mamba eventually for his input because They were a team that was so dominant into the early group stage, and then after that, you're just falling out of oblivion. I've not been seeing that team perform that well. So yeah, hopefully, no KHK, we've been pretty critical, but that's because we know they've got so much potential. So I'm hoping to see them potentially come on through this game or in the next 2 remaining days, even though it might be a little bit too late, I believe.
Well, it may be too late for some of these teams, but it's all about learning as much as you can going forward. It's all about trying to be born to win like all of our teams in here. And for one last time, the match is about to start, and this is the moment of truth. Will you have the support of your mobile phone? Well, when it comes to gaming, not all mobiles are created equally. The Oppo has specifically designed features to make its latest devices with this in mind. The Reno 5G is the perfect match for PUBG. It has remarkable power and speed, plus best-in-class graphics and audio for the ultimate entertainment for your favorite gaming sessions. And we know your favorite gaming sessions are PUBG Mobile. We know what we're doing going forward, and we know we're going into this match to see one last time. So let's get it on. Let's see who's going to be able to take it, and let's see who'll be able to jump up further within the points on this final game to find success.
Hyped up to see who's going to be finally rising up to the occasion on this one. Hey, we had a northern playing path on game one, and this one is going to be a little bit more southern. Does center up towards the west, though. So a few teams that drop in George Bowl, such as Drogons, if they are going to go for their new drop location, or with it just a secondary drop location. Good questions, good questions. Overall, drops are going to be coming out quite... that's actually a lot of teams dropping on the first, what, 1/3 of the playing path? Man, everyone is already jumping out. Seems like there's a lot more of a focus on the center and the east of the map of Erangel all around, which makes me happy because the east is sometimes heavily forgotten about. So Spaza Six finally able to make it very quickly, and like game one, to their side of Sanhok Island, so that's going to be fantastic for them. And yeah, it seems like we are going to be seeing the Drogons commit once again for Southern George. I mean, it worked out amazingly well for them on game one, so if it ain't broke, no need to fix it. They're going to give it a shot. Am I seeing two teams currently drop on towards Pachinki? I think so. I'm seeing PAINAF over there. Another team right underneath, which I cannot suss who that actually is, but this would actually be the first hot drop in Pachinki. We haven't had one yet, and two teams are going to be there. So I'm intrigued. Northern phase 1 circle up to the northeast, but yeah, Pachinki, that's what I'm looking out for. This is a very interesting run of events.
And SG find themselves all alone on military base. No one else at Novo just yet either. Drogons have gone back up to Georgia Pole to fight it out there one final time to see what they can make happen. But with this being so northern, normally we used to see KHK, right? They were the team that always be going for Severny and working their way down. They've given up that spot. They've gone elsewhere for now. Pain and Blackjack Esports. You guys are very close within this. Pain down in 11th place at the moment. Blackjack Esports up in 2nd. If Blackjack Esports went down early, that would be a huge problem. That would be almost unbearable for these guys because they're just 1 point away from being up in 1st place. The good came here, could see them end the day in a 1st place position. Okay, there's enough space right now for these guys to play it off, but they will be having to be cautious around every corner, around every turn of another player that might be nearby.
I'm a little bit surprised because this is the drop location of normally Blackjack Esports. They dropped here every single time. Same for the group stage. They dropped here almost all the time. And then you see in Pain, the team that currently is not very comfortable in the rankings. They're 11th position, 38 points coming their way so far, which is not amazing overall in 7 games. Yep. That's not a good average. And they're contesting one of the top teams, such as Blackjack in 2nd. So I'm intrigued to know what the overall idea of Pain actually is. Because if you kill Blackjack, that's not going to hurt them out too much. It's not going to hurt their chances too heavily. But Pain, they're potentially taking a really big risk here because they're contesting early on. They are, as I said earlier, in 11th position. If they die now, they are going to potentially fall from 11th to 12th or even 13th, 14th in a worst case scenario. Spaza Six, Eraser Crew, and Drogons do amazingly well in this game. So this would be the kind of situation where I would love to be able to talk to the IGL. And I might actually just try and do this after this game because, yeah, what caused you to do this? Because I have no idea. Like I could think of many things, but contesting one of the top teams without a good reason doesn't make much sense to me. So I'll try and reach out to them. I would love to know what the idea was there because I do have a lot of questions for myself.
Well, hopefully we can get some answers to those questions as the Drogons are going to be down in South Georgia Pole without any real problem around them, which is nice for them. They are down in a struggling positions. We keep on touching them. They've not been having the greatest time. They're aware of it. We're aware of it, but we do want to see them do better, especially in the beginning of group stage. We did like what we saw from these guys. But again, this lobby only gets tougher. Things only get harder from here. At least they'll have an easier looting stage at the beginning, though. At least they can grab what they want to do from here. But it's all about the next steps they want to take up into it all. And KHK, that is not what I want to see early on here. They're finding a battle with Exist. And Sully's going to find himself on the floor.
It's happening way more than you would expect, actually. I've seen KHK get knocked or again get involved in fights early on, which is what I enjoyed of them, especially on their first 2 days of the group stage. They were being very methodical. They were taking very clean and smart approaches to every single situation, but now they're just like, feel like a rabid dog. Just they see a team like, oh, we're going to engage. Oh, we're going to give it a shot, which unfortunately is not always going to be the best course of action. Well, yeah, we see him Pain into the kill feed versus Blackjack. And Blackjack seems like they actually got the short end of the straw on this one. They are not able to take it, but KHK in a very similar position in the open, caught with their pants down. Reckless finding himself the first frag of his team. KHK going to try their very best to move away, but we'll leave another player, and that is indeed Sully, put down. The Existence trying to go for their second frag in this game as Reverb. He's just leaving the scene entirely. There's no one to give that chance away because they just can't afford to die early. This is another bad performance early on from the side of KHK that they can't afford anymore. They really can't. More games like this and they are throwing their chances of making it into the PMPL. But back over to Pachinki. The fight shall continue as Zane is in a 1v3 in this one building against 3 players of Pain.
Oh, Cheddar on top of the roof as well. He sees what Kingamin was going to try and do.
Oh, he good. Oh, yes.
Nice, oh,
that's perfect.
Through the smoke, they might not expect it.
Oh yes.
Hey, back down. Nicely done from Cheddar. He's got Zane to back him up as well. They're even going to get another knock onto El Chapo. Surely not like this. Pain, you had a huge advantage. Zane is just firing on forward. Beast is running around the corner, but he's going to outdo him this time around. Going to go in for the finish off as well. And Pain, well, they're delivering the Pain game all the way to Blackjack Esports, who find themselves eliminated in Pachinki. A battle we didn't expect, a battle we said would cost Pain more, but so far it's just gained them 4 points. The problem here for Blackjack Esports is losing a game like this, like you said, doesn't matter for the points. They're in second place. They've had 81 points in total, but it's going to hurt the fact that, playing this catch-up, if INF have another good game, you're sat there going, damn it, we're even further behind. We're trying to catch up on them. We're trying to get this lead. We've been faltered at the first hurdle. We are the first team eliminated.
And we were critical on that decision-making, but at the end, they execute on it properly, pick up 4 kills, lose none of their players, so it doesn't hurt them whatsoever. And also, one thing to keep in mind, they get Pachinki for themselves and all the loot that was picked up initially by Blackjack Esports. So they are going to be fully set and ready to go for the next future engages coming out in this game. So overall, good start from the side of Pain. Let's see if they can keep on playing properly for this one. So I'd like to talk also a little bit about the circle. Don't have time to talk about it too much as we had some early engagements with this KHK, Pain, Blackjack, and all that good stuff. We're currently looking at a phase 1 circle, northeast. The entire northern side of the river is free. Also, whatever is up north of Yasnaya Polyana is also free to overtake. So a lot of teams such as INF, Slime 4KT, Drogons, also to the eastern coastline, such as the side of atlmagicians could easily rotate in there. Existence also would be amazing. And I would love to see some teams go for some quick and fast rotations. But now that I'm looking at the map a little bit further, I want to mention this actually, Banks. You know how we talked initially about the fact that atlmagicians are a very stubborn team. They always drop remorse, never move around. They always stick to that position. Here, they actually went for the first time, I believe it is, for secondary drop location in the name of Lipovka, which is, by the way, great with that kind of playing pass. So overall, thank you, atlmagicians, man. They are learning, they are improving, and they are definitely doing what they had to do to increase their odds of a good game. The Lipovka here is a great drop location, and it will facilitate their rotation upon phase 1, phase 2, and the future phases about to come in this game. So overall, ATL, that's 2 big thumbs up for you, my dudes. Keep it up. That is what I want to see from them.
Now, SF, they have been under fire from the high ground that the gun have had an advantage over them. Some of them have now got in their vehicles and worked their way down, and Ellie's going to find himself having to just be cautious at every turn here. His teammates aren't that close to him. Yumi's actually able to find a knock going on, though, so they're fighting from all sides at the moment. Nade going on up. Plaza just going to avoid him. Does avoid Nerf me as well. And it's the Magicians who are going to be under pressure from SF while Ellie tries to hold off gun. Ellie's going to be able to at least pass all the information over as this circle shifts up further towards the north. We continue to work our way up above, but it's Plaza with the nade. Landing onto Ellie. Snorix is trying to provide some cover fire, but it's probably not going to be able to save. And hiding behind the tree, not much health. The finish off comes in and Nerf me. He'll walk away with that one. 1 kill for gun. And they don't have to push on this. They can just back away. They can sit pretty with it. But they're still going to have many bullets fly out towards them for the meantime.
Did Nerf me just get a frag with a M4. Damn, I thought you could only use the Mini 14 or the SLR or something else like that. You know what? I respect to nerf me on that one, of course, meaning, but he is a renowned for his DMR shots. Very versatile player indeed as an Inspector. Gonna be checking out this positional scrim farm, but he's pushing this one alone. The team is not there to back him up. And he's trying to stop it. No, he's straight out of here. What are you doing? Oh my god. What was that? He scouted from way too close.
That's like a hi guys, scouting, and then I'll run away, and oh no, the rest of his teammates are now being shot at by gun. An easy next knock found for Nerf Me. They're gonna go on the hunt for the rest of them. Maniac pushing on for. Oh no, there's another buggy running on by. There's so many teams in this location. Maniac is a true maniac in the car, and he's got Matrix with him, but not close enough to help him out. He's just going to continue to drive on forward and get the hell out of here because he doesn't want to stick around for much longer. And Hansley, you got to be careful. You just drove him past gun as well. What is going on?
Oh, man. These are also desperate opportunities that they're just trying to find for themselves. But Hansley not looking behind him, and that's going to be Temper towards that position of Stolber. Looking great. Hansley. Maybe going down there. His head is barely peeking up. Oh, finds a bit of damage. Hansley, lay down one more. And Six. Oh, Six got aid. Come on. There you go. Able to get it for himself. That's great. But they're going to get... Wait, did INF split away from each other? Are they going to try and go for the frags here? No. They do not know what they're doing. They're just like, we don't know where to go. Teams are everywhere. We have no idea what we're doing. And yeah, they lose another. They have no idea where to go.
You're giving extra kills to them just for fun. Shady's going to take advantage of this through the tree as well. Just manages to spot out Vile. Continues to take some shots. Vile trying to stay alive. And he just about is, but Shady, he's not done just quite yet. The revive's going to come on through, but Gun, you need to get enough cover. Not even the smoke being deployed. They're not risking it for now. The trees do not provide you enough cover, ladies and gentlemen. This does not work out this way. More shots being added to him. Shady. I wish I could shoot this well through the trees. I don't even see things when it's moving through the trees. I'm like, is that a pixel? Am I wrong? I have to guess myself. Shady's just like, nope, I'm taking all the shots. I'm going to take him down. I know what's up.
Damn. Gun and Tempo just playing a game of rock, paper, scissors, where Gun take paper and, well, looking at Tempo. Well, no, sorry, Tempo take himself Gun and Gun take paper. Wait, I got hella confused with what I'm saying right now. Oh, damn. I'm going to let that one go. Anyways, good shot coming up on Tempo as they hit it. The flush is not going to be able to happen, though, but Tempo overall in a good spot. They got to be careful in case the circle does go downhill. So, overall, they're still putting the good hurt down on these teams. The circle about to pop once again upon phase 3. Which, overall, we've got to say, we've still got 15 teams alive. Sure, we did lose Blackjack, and the circle goes back towards the side of Severny. So, as I said, if it does go downhill, things are going to get a little bit spicy, a little bit dicey, even, I would say. Spain, Africa, a little bit slow on that rotation. Got to make it over the river, but not too many teams are going to be holding on strongly to the south. But there you go. TL Magician going to get pushed upon by Spaza Six. Coco left alone as his teammates move away, and he's stranded. Wait, where are the homies? The homies are gone. Oh, no. This is so sad for Coco. Oh.
Coco's still doing his best effort, though. He's firing back towards them. Ash. Oh, no. Coco. He thought he could sneak round and catch him by surprise, but they come in to put him down. He won't get any kills off the back of that. And this is madness. I don't think I've seen so many teams confused at one time about what is going on in this lobby. Temper are taking full advantage of it. They had massive high ground and everyone was working their way up towards them. Teams were splitting up in cars. They were thinking they'll go forward, then backing away from the situation. Everyone's just scrambling. This is chaos.
I feel so bad for Coco. He got dropped by the rest of his teammates like he was dropped at school and just like, okay, you're there for 8 hours today. Bye-bye. See you later. Yeah, that was an unfortunate call. I think that maybe there was a little bit of miscommunication and Coco thought they were going to breach and then we're just passing by. It's like, I already jumped. Oh, well, I guess you're taking a 1v4 now. So anyways, that kind of stuff happens and Coco will be a casualty regardless in the underneath section of that building. Temper, they started moving away. I think the way they moved around is actually really smart. They moved up top because there was too many teams down here and they just want to avoid those skirmishes as much as possible. No encounters are going to be taken for them, which I think is amazing. They're just going to be looking for different positions, just scouting step by step, looking for some buildings that could be free. A few shacks would be great also to create a good car fort. But they're being very cautious, very methodical, which is what we expected from Tempo because they were second position team in the group stage and currently standing on 10th position after last game, after Miramar. So we are expecting a lot more from Tempo. And the way they're playing this, they are taking this extremely seriously. And they are potentially aiming to make their way back up towards top 3. Don't think it's going to happen today, but going into day 3 and day 4, we could see Temper, if they keep on playing like this at least, contesting with the top dog teams.
Well, the top dog team right now is INF. They're up at 82 points, and they're still picking up some kills along the way. Pain, we saw them deal with Blackjack Esports. We were surprised, pleasantly by it. If they can make a good game out of this, that would be huge. The Magician's position from here. Okay, you've lost Vortex, but overall, you can have good eyes around you on all the other teams passing on by. And this is just such a heavily contested area. Pain from the mountaintops with El Chapo down below may be able to jump onto the position of the Magicians. Oh, wow. The Drogons. Look what they've done. They've come from South George all the way up just towards the eastern side of Severny, existing there as well. Temper, they made the smart move very early on. The teams down in the the southeastern side, they're going to have the rougher time getting on up. And for KHK and 4KT, they can take the long route round and find some space near towards the northwestern side. So there's enough to fight for in this. But again, it's this southern contention that's going to be difficult.
If you're Temper in this one, what do you do? I really wonder what Temper are going to do. Are they going to stay there and try and be the gatekeepers of the Stolber Mountain? Or are they just going to move closer to Drogons potentially and aim for the long game? I'm really wondering. I want to see what Temper are going to do, because I think that their decision on this is going to change the entire course of this game, not only for them, but for all the teams on top of the Stolber Mountain, such as ATL Magicians, Pain Africa, INF also up there, or even the side of AOK, and Scrim Farm could also make their way through, because Scrim Farm, I think, did suffer a casualty or two earlier, so they are still not in a very comfortable position. But Gun, through the south, as you said here, Banks, a lot of teams potentially will get close to each other and contest it. They do find a spot, and there you go, Nerf me. Not with the M4 anymore. No, back to his weapon of choice. When he got the Mini 14 over, well, Nerf me, you know he's going to be good. He hits one right away. Oh my god, that was instant.
I'm surprised they didn't take him down, though. Matrix, he got hit hard and then just dodged all the bullets. He was living in the Matrix for real. Oh. I
think there was an instant headshot too coming out from Nerf me right away on that Mini 14, and then was not able to hit the rest. So still, what a good respect. UAE. You have to move on away from this spot. The Gun, they were able to slip in there first, showing that unfortunately in this one, UAE were a little bit too slow to respond to this big shift. And that is going to be potentially causing their demise, as they only have Matrix and the Maniac alone now as a two-man. They do lose the player they sent on forward. What's the game plan for both of these teams? Because Gun, they're gatekeeping right now, but they're not in circle themselves, so they got to keep looking into the future. Where do they want to move? If I were them, this fight is just not worth taking versus UAE. Just have your eyes on the prize, aim for the circle, and take the fight towards Eraser Crew or AOK, because aiming just to go center circle, there's so many teams that got good spots already, you will not be able to hold on to it for the long term. As Vile, there you go, looking for it. Can they get the car? Oh, they make it through to the horizon. They should be fine. They're going to be okay. Oh my god. The shots though from Gun, like the suppressing fire from all the teammates together, like that's some really good team communication coming through.
Yeah, all at the right time, all taking the shots they need to take. Now they'll move on in, but they've got to be cautious because they've made a lot of noise. There's a lot of teams going to be around them. It's only going to get tougher from here. They're safely in, but they're scouting around. But how much information do they have of what's ahead of them here? That's going to be the question. As Temper, at least in this game, I keep seeing them pop up on the kill feed. They're getting some knocks down, and so are Pain. They've blown up the Magician's car, and Kelvin's gone down. Poor Shade. Oh, no. Shade. I wouldn't want to be him right now.
Hey, things could be worse. I mean, actually, no, things couldn't be worse. Shade is in the ring.
He's on his own.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wait, where's the team? Oh, no one's there, actually. So, Shade, I'm sorry, my dude. Oh, that looks like a bang of a nade. Hey, close enough. A little bit more to the left, my dude. And they might be able to get it. Oh, that's two grenades. Oh, wait. Oh, no. He instantly... Oh, there you go. Oh, the volley.
No. He's going to get Berserk as well. Berserk?
Oh, no, he's good.
Nade's not going
Oh, my
far
God, the nades. Why did they join up? Why did Berserk join up on Shade? He was like in a worse position.
I guess Berserk was thinking he's just going to drive forward, pick him up and run away, but they did not expect the barrage of nades once again. The molly doesn't manage to burn him all the way down just yet, but they are ticking away. And 4KT They're
Oh,
unrelenting with the aggression shown towards them.
that circle though. Over to Temper and the side of Dragons once again. The compound is almost entirely cut off for the side of Dragons. So here, I think that staying there will be good for the short term. But if you are aiming for a win here, Dragons are going to need a little bit more and might have to push out early on if needed. That would be great. The UAE back into the car. It's fuming. A few bullets and that car is going to be going out into smithereens. But Leader, oh my god, getting pushed upon. And Pronto will be able to find Leader instantly after jumping out of the car. And that is going to be it for Leader. He's going to be out of commission entirely. 10 teams now remaining.
No,
Resistance
look.
also going dead center. All the teams are aiming central. This is such an aggressive push from all these teams.
A Hail Mary from everyone to try and get center position. 4KT found themselves being shot down as Storm did pick up the first kill, but then the attack continued. Pain are racking up kills and they're still at it. I'd love to see how many people they've still got alive. Gun are jumping into fight onto the Drogons, but Nerf Me needs to be careful. They're all going down, and that's Gun done with. Out in 10th place.
Big. That's what you need. They're feeling confident. Good job on the side of Dragons. Take themselves the ace onto Gunner all around. Eliminated in 9th. Dragons, as I said, this is not going to be a good long-term option. You've got to start looking into the future. Start looking for this chicken dinner potentially to make up for those few bad games you had initially at the start of these playoffs. YONKOUS pop into the kill feed versus Pain Africa. So it seemed like Pain, they are indeed not going to be having a lot of good time. The nades, the African utility, as I call it, is going to be strong once more. The Slime 4KT, man, they're having such a hard time. They are surrounded by every single team in this lobby. They cannot take shots from that position either. All they can do is hold on strong, survive, pop the heals, and res up your teammates. But other than that, I also believe their car has now been rendered useless. So without a car, I think we might be losing Slime 4KT in just the next upcoming few minutes because they just cannot move away from that one specific spot.
Yeah, they've been fighting from start to finish, going aggressively against the other teams around them. Like you said, at the moment, they're pinned down. It's Temper that have been in a great position for a long time, but they've been active. They've not been sitting back. They're up at 6 kills for now, and they've still got 4 alive. They're taking more shots now towards Storm, just slowly tapping away through the smoke, hoping they can land some shots. And poor Pronto and Storm, well, they're going to struggle just to move anywhere. Not hoping hell's chance when you've got 4 players of Temper just continuing to fire bullets down on you and look towards your location. The Kings of the Hill, as it be for now, Temper is.
This actually might not be that bad for 4KT. The circle actually went very close to them, so they don't have to move. If they had to move, this is going to be very hard. But actually, the fact that they just do not have to move whatsoever is going to be a big strong point for 4KT. So I do go back on my previous statement. Purely based off this circle, they could be looking pretty. It's going to still require a lot of effort for them to be able to hold on strong because they only got 1 rock to work off of. And that's where things could get a little bit hard to predict as to what's going to happen. Though, oh, the scope of Mestre spots it out. Sees Dan, the survivalist, maybe looking to push forward. Makes it over. Oh, he's not even looking. He's not using that third-person perspective properly. And Dan's able to make it easily from smoke to smoke. Makes it down. As Temper slowly going to be going downwards down the hill. 6 God is going to be there initially. Crashing the car, I believe, on top of a tree to create a car for his teammates. So they can all crash it on top. But YONKOUS, the Blues are on top of it. Lewis mine down because of it. But Temper going right on top of the side of Slime 4KT. Storm is out of commission. They've still got 1 player on the backside in the name of Pronto, trying to best to hold on strong.
Nades going on up,
One
though.
nade. Oh. Yes.
Oh, close. But not close enough. Then he gets finished off. Shady will get the kill. And that is 4KT out in 6th place. 5 teams remain, and it's 9 kills for Temper. We said they needed a big game. They were in 10th place with 44 points before this game. Already with 9 kills and the 5th place secured. It's going to be a huge boost for these guys. But can they go all the way? They're in a great spot, and they're keeping all the other teams away. They've got a reasonable split as well to fight from here.
Temper, this is what I love to see. This is what I wanted to see from PAINAF in Game 1. They did not do it right away, but Temper, they are doing it perfectly. Being spread, that's so much extra information coming your way that you can use to your win condition. And also just the map pressure you're bringing to the table is out of this world. Careful though. Existence, Flame Clutch, still moving their way forward, right behind a few teams. Just going to be also Gunner on the forefront, sees the information. Skull going to be low. As Flame gets picked up by Skull himself. Clutch, how do you play this? You're down here, you got to make it uphill. So many teams can spot you out. DROGONS see where you are. This is not looking great, but Temper, once again, get involved into the kill feed versus AOK. and they are looking to pop off 11 kills already here, Banks, and they're looking to pick up a bunch more, and especially still up as a 4-man squad. If they get Flacco back up on his feet, this should be a Temper win after this one. The Circle, now I say that, I take my previous statement back again, because the Circle has been moving up north, and this is going to be forcing Temper in a pretty bad spot, but it is a 4v2v1v1, so they still have the man advantage that is detrimental in these closing moments.
And Skull, he doesn't look like he's got any bandages or any first aid kits because his health is not going up. He's just chilling down there right now. Exist, hiding as well. The Drogons down in a smoke. And Temper, they're spread out. They've got a buggy to play with. They're rolling back on forward together. They've brought Flacco back up. Oh, I think Gunner spotted Skull. Oh, I think he did. I think he's got a good idea of what's going on over there. Skull, maybe just very unlucky in this position. He's got hardly any health, and he's just waiting. And he's going to have to move anyway because of the blue eventually. But Gunner, he's just waiting for it. He sat back there, him and Flacco proned up and ready. While Six God and Shady, they start to make some movements, but they're going to be taking shots against the Drogons. And this is a beautiful play from Temper. I keep saying it. They've been proactive. They've been moving around the map, and they've been taking full advantage of it. These guys were fighting from back when we were looking on the top of the mountain, down at all the other teams, when Gun were trying to work their way up. Blade's going to go out to the zone. Oh, Dan's trying to run away, but it's not going to work out. 13 kills and a dream so far for Temper. As Skull sits behind the rock, and he knows he's going to have to move soon. And Gunner, he's still looking over towards that direction. A nade is pinned and ready, but Clutch! He steals one away just before the nade can go out. And now Temper, they're on the hunt. They're on the move. They said that was our one more kill, our one more point we wanted on top of the win. And now Clutch sees the head, but it doesn't even matter as Temper get a very impressive statement win here.
Not only did Clutch pick up a kill, and that's an extra 1 point, but that was also improving their overall point standings from a 3rd position to a 2nd position. That 1 kill alone was so damn valuable for Clutch to pick up, so I gotta say big up respect to that guy, but Temper especially. They were 100% the MVP of that entire game, not only because they secured the win, but because the amount of control, the respect also that they were giving the teams all around them was mental. I really loved how Temper played this. I believe, and I'm not even I believe, I'm going to say this right now. Temper, this was their best game throughout the entire tournament so far. This is what I want to see from Temper. They showed they got great individual performances, and they can play so damn well. But when you use those performances so well, you can take a win so damn easily, and they proved it right there. And Temper now, up in 7th position after that win. That's going to be great. And now slowly getting back in a spot where they could be looking to contest with top 5, even top 3 going into day 3 of these finals. But who's still going to be on top? It's going to be Influence Rage Africa and Undisputed African Esports. It was 83 points each. But because Influence Rage Africa have that extra chicken dinner compared to UAE, they are currently standing pretty in number 1 spot.
And they're the one with the most consistent placement points, 51 in total for now. But Temper in that game got 29 points, 15 for first place and 14 kill points. A very impressive win to end off the day. And if that can't motivate you to push on forward and deliver that again, because what I saw there, Max, was teamwork, it was synergy, was being proactive and running around and taking fights. They were doing it as a team and watching it. Everything was going around them. The circle benefited them a couple of times, sure, but they did have to work for it. And they didn't just sit back and say, okay, we're going to deal with this. This is nice for us. They didn't tussle up. They went out and got the additional kills. That's the kind of win that I'm impressed with. That's the kind of win I love to see here on PUBG Mobile.
Temper in that move and how they play that late game, I'm going to say that was the closest move I've seen so far to what teams do going into, for example, a PMGC or PMWL. Like, this is actually international level playstyle from Temper that they executed upon there. That is what's going to get you really far, not only in your own respective region with this African PMCO, but I'm talking internationally in the African region overall. You can make it super far. Where I kind of mixed up there. Overall, what I'm trying to say is they can make it really far if they keep on playing like this. Temper, got to keep it up. That was a really good execution. I'm hoping it's not just a one simple, one-off kind of thing. I would hope that they can play like this alone, like a lot of the time. And I'm hoping all the other teams that are going to be doing some VOD reviewing after this, hopefully, once again, cross our fingers, are going to learn from what Temper did. Because when you have the advantage, if you play too passive, you are taking a risk of losing that game. If you play like Temper like this every single time, your chances of winning are just increasing so heavily from like a 50-50 to maybe a 70 or an 80% chance of you being able to find that game. So Temper, I hope they can keep up the pressure like that every day throughout the resting of these 2 days of the finals. But looking on the other side, down below, DROGONS with what I would call easily their best game so far in this entire playoff finals. Now still in 14th position. They were able to climb a little bit throughout today, but it is not enough to make up for yesterday. So still hitting day 3 and day 4. DROGONS, Spaza 6, and KHK, they need to go heavily further and beyond. Especially Spaza 6, I'm surprised. They actually falling even lower. They were 13th before this game. Now from 13th down to 15th, they are not able to find their groove so far. It's very unfortunate to see them down there.
Yeah, the struggle city after the end of day 2 here for a lot of these teams. Some of these teams we praised so highly during the group stage. This just shows how competitive it is here for the African region. I'm just amazed that we're already halfway through, Max, and this is what we're looking at. This is still able to play for. The top 4 or 5 teams, so if I just look down this again, because the rank has just gone off there, we're looking at 83, 83, 81, 79, 78, 76, 73. That's the top 7. That's Temper all the way up to Influence, Rage, Africa. That is impressive. That means that just one good game from any of these teams, it can all change. It is still all to play for within the top 10 teams, 100%. But it's all about what we come back to, getting those big points on the board, getting those wins in play. And even with Influence, Rage, Africa having 2 chicken dinners, it hasn't guaranteed them anything. They've had a great amount of placement points, but they've not quite been there with the killing points the whole way through. So we're just action-packed now from start to finish. These next 2 days are going to be incredible because we can't guess where this is going. And maybe even your boys in Art of Killing Esports have a chance, because today they did rank up a little bit. They went 16th to 13th. It's not bad. It's something impressive that they weren't down in so low points.
It's not quite top 5, but you know what? It's an improvement regardless. So we'll keep on going. I'll keep on tracking the boys of Art of Killing Esports. Hopefully they can make it up there. I think maybe I know why things are not going well for Art of Killing Esports, because they typed esports in their name as a capital S, not capital E. Esports, not capital S, by the way. That's maybe why. That's not how you type it. There you go. A little life lesson for you guys at home. Art of Killing, you got to switch that one up. But really, I'm looking at this top 8, and I'm seeing every single team up there with a chicken dinner minimum, 2 for INF, but Scrim Farm really has to be the big surprise coming into these finals. No, they were doing, I would say, really good. Get into the group stage. They qualified top 16. Easy peasy for them. And now with 0 chicken dinners, able to be top 4 with 4 teams below them with 1 win each. Man, Scrim Farm Africa overall, in my opinion, so far throughout these 2 days of finals have been the big surprise. And hopefully a surprise will keep on going forward as they look in to see them maybe make it number 1. Because Scrim Farm, I think that, sure, there's been a few mistakes. They iron out those few little mistakes that they make happen, and they'll look into not only find some good, consistent results like day 1, where they got 3 third positions in a row, by the way. They'll look into close off a chicken dinner. And if they can look those closing moments, if they can find closure to a lot of those games, they'll look into being number 1. So Scrim Farm, a few little things to improve on, but still they are playing at a level that I think a lot of other teams would struggle to keep up with.
We'll have to see if these other teams can keep up with it and if they can move on forward, but that'll be happening tomorrow. We're done for another day. It has been action-packed from start to finish. The leaderboard is oh so close, and trust me, you guys won't want to miss the action that we'll be bringing you tomorrow. 4 more matches, and we'll be over the halfway mark with just 1 day remaining once we get towards the end of the day of tomorrow. But we still got 8 matches to go. It's been action-packed. It's been amazing once again. Thank you for all of you guys for kicking it with us and watching from start to finish. We'll see you tomorrow, the same time as always, but make sure you don't miss it out because you cannot afford to miss these games.